Everyone ready?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's pick up from where we left off. When we last left our adventurers, the moon was rising high in the sky as the night has most certainly set in. A rather unpleasant discovery recently revealed to Theon and now presented to the rest of the party has shed some light on the mystery behind the creature that you encountered within the swamps, the one that seemed to be holding Lola. And with the revelation of what you have learned, the group of you now stand outside one of the barrows, one of the entrances to the barrows, the underground rooms where you've been spending your evenings when you're in the glades. You look across from each other, contemplating what it is you've just taken in.
Alcohol.
Someone has handed the notes to Hosk, and Hosk is trying to read them and just staring very confusedly at symbols he doesn't recognize before handing them back to Theon.
Remind me again what the notes contained.
You should be able to see them underneath the entry for Drax's character. There should be a Tattered Journals entry.
And ruined letter.
Oh, and a ruined letter, yes. And you should be able to see that as well. Oh, no, that's... oh, no, yeah, that's all players. Okay, no, you should be able to see that.
You guys should have been reading that while I was getting here.
I mean, I
We
read
read
it
it last time.
last time, but it's been 2 weeks.
Should have read it again. Yeah.
Well, are there beds nearby? Because I'm gonna go to sleep.
You are within eyesight of the door to the room that you previously stayed in.
I walk in and sleep.
As you walk in, you throw open the door, and you see Lola looking rather saddened, sitting on her bed.
Uh-oh. I give her a thumbs up and then climb in bed.
She looks at you and smiles a little weakly. And as you look at her, you can't help but notice that a lot of the scarring that's across her arm seems much less prominent now. She looks a little bit better, her skin is a bit more clear, she seems a little happier, and for all intents and purposes, she looks a little prettier.
She's a child, HPG.
She is a child, but
Yes.
she still looks better than she did the last time you saw her.
I
Does
climb
she
in
look-
bed
Does she look older?
to go to sleep.
You're not there.
The barmaid.
The barmaid, that you guys have got to go back to the... You guys are going to have to go back to that store if you want to talk to her.
I have dibs on her. So,
For the record, you didn't say dibs to anybody, so you don't have shit right now.
well, Jesus Christ, I climb out of bed and walk back to the store.
Are you actually going to go back to the store at this point?
Am I drunk?
Yeah. Well, you're semi-drunk.
Okay, I drink
Oh,
more and go
God.
back to the store.
Oh
You
my
can't.
God.
How are you going to drink more? You left the place where you were drinking. You
I
don't
thought
have
she
any more
filled up-
alcohol on you.
See,
I
what's
thought she
happening
filled up my
here-
wineskins.
Oh, you want to
Pretty
crack into
reasonable.
those that you bought?
What?
You want to crack into the wineskins you bought?
I thought that's what I've been drinking from the whole time.
No, you bought the wineskins. You were just drinking like ale and shit when you were at the store.
Oh.
Or did
Well-
you? I mean, you can be drinking your wineskins, but it's going to be at least half done by now.
Here's what I think
Yeah,
is
that's
happening here.
fine.
He took a look at the prettier Lola and he's like, "Oh, I need to go find that barmaid quick."
What?
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 Confusion abound.
Well,
Moving on.
drink more and I'll go back. It should be closed, right?
Are you going back?
Is it closed?
Answer my question. Are you going back? Right now, you're in
Yes.
bed in the barrow. All right.
Yes.
So the rest of the party is you're contemplating what you have just learned. You see Morris deciding, yeah, he's done with this. He just walks into the barrow,
Wait,
And
where
then
are you going?
About 15 seconds later, you see him walk back out the barrow and off in the direction of the promenade, seemingly heedless to what anyone else says. Hosk has actually wandered himself back into the grove, and he is being actually.
By himself?
Everyone make a perception check.
See, like, I mean, if he's going somewhere, I kind of want to walk with him.
Everyone who's there. So Morris, if I don't think you're there, so you don't get to.
Okay, yeah. Forget my amazing roll.
Oh man, I almost feel bad now denying you a crit. I did say everybody, fuck it, we'll use it.
How do I do it again? Probably perception.
Yeah. So perception's underneath that heart in the big vertically oriented rectangle.
Throw my virtual dice. Do it.
It's beneath there? What?
The barrow. There are 3 barrows, to your knowledge, that exist underneath the mound that is the sacred grove where the argent oak grows, and one of them you and your party have been staying in. A different one of them is where you saw Arari focusing to maintain the barrier. And Sorwin, you happen to know that one of these barrows is also where the druid Diranor, who's been teaching you, tends to sleep.
Cool.
So Morris and Sorwin, you happen to know as Hosk begins to kind of waddle off into the sacred grove, you see from amongst some of the trees nearby to you, shadowed silhouettes begin to move in and amongst the trees in his direction. And Morris, you happen to walk right by, and you turn your head to the side, and you pretty much make direct eye contact through the mask of a Gladeborn agent who is trailing Hosk.
Can I give him angry eyebrows? Is that something I can do?
He's not even looking at you. He hasn't noticed you've noticed him.
Oh, I'll walk up to him and tap him on the shoulder.
His head snaps to the side, and he looks at you through his mask.
You're not very sneaky.
I don't have to be sneaky in here. I have to be accurate. And you can see that he has underneath his cloak, you can see one end of a longbow, or sorry, a short bow that's already drawn. And you recognize the structure, the kind of gray winged structure of the bow as that your compatriot Mindardus carries as well. He doesn't have an arrow drawn, but he's got one in his hand. So he's prepping for combat if it has to happen.
All right, I'll say, don't cause me problems, and then I'll walk away. Because I'm done with this shit.
As you're walking away, you hear him mutter to himself, "You should say the same thing."
I'm drunk. I'll pretend I didn't hear it.
As you continue through the promenade, you know what? I'll just include this with your perception roll. You happen to see, rounding the corner off on the far side of the promenade, the kind of golden hair of the girl who normally tends that store, disappearing around the corner. And as you arrive at the store itself, there is a small closed sign hanging on the door, and the door is locked.
I gotta follow her.
You're gonna follow a girl home.
Well,
So, are you just gonna like chase up and catch her, or what?
I'll walk at a slightly faster pace to catch up to her, but not sprint, because that seems desperate.
Are you trying to remain unnoticed, or do you not care?
I don't care.
Okay.
I am slightly intoxicated.
I gotta get my dice. Give me a second.
This is least awkward as I can.
So as you round the corner where you saw this lady disappear, you can see her heading towards one of the structures in this area. It's a tall cylindrical building that runs kind of parallel to 2 other of these silver-barked trees. And the trees themselves, the trunk starts in the ground, and as it grows upwards, it actually melds with the stone of the building. So the tree actually seems to get incorporated into the structure of this building somehow, forming one of the rooms on the as an offshoot of this cylinder, almost like a kind of bubble off of this central column. And as she is heading up towards the door, you can see her beginning to fumble with keys as you catch up to her. She looks up with a bit of confusion and a little bit of a look of like, okay. And she greets you with a smile.
Are we gonna do this or what?
Excuse me?
I'll walk away. She doesn't understand. Okay. Back to sleep.
Wow, Steve-O's character is kind of a
As
shy
you
one.
turn around and you're walking away, you could hear almost like a soft kind of chiding laughter. And you hear her say, I didn't think you were going to give up that easily.
She wanted you to keep going.
She did not make that very clear.
Maybe she
Go
likes
on,
playing
Steve-O.
coy.
Go
Keep-
on, Steve-O, flirt with HPG.
I can't.
with
I
him.
Get
can't.
it! Get it!
I can't read her very well. I say, "Oh well," and walk away.
As you're walking away, you hear, have a good night.
I wave and walk away.
She waves back.
Now I go to bed.
As you're about to round the corner, you hear her call out, it's Tinny.
Then I'll yell Morris and continue walking away.
All right. You continue walking away.
She looked more of a copper.
How is Tinny spelled? Is it like
I
tiny?
don't know. I was thinking more like bronze.
It's a shame she
'Kay.
'cause she really led you on.
Yeah, what a jerk. Jesus.
How did she lead you on?
It's a
She-
fucking pun.
She's not bronzy. She's not silvery. She's not goldy. She's tinny. You getting it?
Yes. You can't see the fact that I'm rolling my eyes, but man, was there a roll eyes just now. Okay, so the rest of the party, having seen Morris seemingly incapable of deciding where it is he wants to go right now, what are you up to?
I was wanting to follow our drunk dude.
All right, so as he takes off, you follow him across the promenade, and you see him disappear around a corner.
I continue following him while calling out, Husk, we need to wait in the grove for morning.
Wait, were you following Morris or were you following Hosk?
I was following Husk.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you were following Hosk.
'Cause
Hosk
I
did not go
told
to the
him-
promenade.
Yeah. I when he walked out, I had asked if I could follow him, but then you asked for perception checks.
Ah, I didn't hear you say that you were following Hosk. Okay, so you follow Hosk into the grove.
I follow him wherever he was going,
Well,
trying
he
to get him back.
he walks into the grove, and you see him. Essentially, he looks around a little bit, and then heads over towards the rock structures with the fountain, and
Mhm.
climbs up on a low-lying rock that is relatively flat and just seems to curl into a ball, and very, very rapidly fall asleep.
Is it
Do you want
still
to wake
in
him?
the like the Circle Grove thing?
He is still within the sacred grove. Yes.
He's still in the Sacred Grove.
Yes, and you can notice on opposite ends from where you are, so here, and the other entrance is here. So you notice there are individuals that are standing guard at those entrances that seem to be turned inwards, facing towards where Hosk is.
Okay. I look at the guards and I ask them. I say, "Is he okay to rest here? This is where he must feel most at home."
As you ask that question, you see one of the guards brush his cloak back across his body, revealing a notched arrow. The bow is not drawn, but the arrow is notched. And you hear in Elvish, "We are the Watchers."
Fucking elves, man.
Is he safe?
provided he does not threaten anyone. He is safe for now.
I kind of laugh and going, well, I don't think he's going to be hurting anybody. I don't even think he can stand properly right now. And I... Does he look cold? Is it a cold night?
No, you're in the summer season, so it's not a terribly cold night. It also appears that he is very comfortable where he is.
Okay.
You already begin to hear a light snoring sound, but it's got kind of a higher pitch and a longer drawl, so there is an element of kind of like a reptilian hiss to the snore, but he is most certainly snoring.
I pet him on his head and I go back down to the grove.
Hang on, I gotta roll give me a sec. As you pat him on the head, you notice one of his eyes, the one nearest to you, opens up. And he hasn't moved, but there is an eye looking at you.
And I go, stay safe, Husk.
You don't
And
get a
I-
word in response, but you just hear it.
Could I say it in his language?
You did. I'm assuming you said it in his
Yeah.
language.
Okay.
The only response is that kind of low guttural snort, and then he goes back to sleep,
Okay.
seemingly.
I walk down back to the burrows or whatever you call those.
All right, Sorwin, Honos, are you doing anything?
Well,
Going to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
All right, so
I'm going
Mindardus
to
follows
sleep.
Sorwin and Honos into the barrow. As the group of you enter, you notice that Lola is sitting on the bed she's nearby to. Seems a little bored, but otherwise is preparing to go to bed. She is brushing her hair, which looks cleaner than the last time you saw it. A little more well kept. It would appear that she's had somebody tend to it and give her a haircut while she's been here, and she appears to be just brushing it out before bed.
As I arrive back into the burrows, if I'm there yet,
You are there.
speak up to. I really hate how Joe. Actually, I don't even know who he is anymore. What's Joe's guy's name again?
Honos.
Honos. Okay. I ask him what he thinks of the letter and what he makes of it, as well as Mindardus and Soren.
I haven't been with you guys as long, so I had trouble following it.
Soren? Or Mindardus?
Well, Mindardus thinks to himself for a moment.
That's right, he's not here.
Yes. Don't worry, I'll speak for him.
You can't speak a lot, though.
I'm not trying to. I want to do as little role playing as possible when I'm
I'm just
somebody
saying
else.
he doesn't normally say a lot, so
I know. I'm trying to decide like what an appropriate thing for him to say. Is a rather soft-spoken individual. Well, I think that it tells us something about her, but I definitely don't know what.
Do you know what was the word? Something?
I gotta roll an intelligence check for him.
Cognoscenti is.
I've heard the word before. I think it has something to do with mages that used to live on this island. Wizards, yes, it had something to do with wizards. But that was all taken care of before I arrived. I don't think they exist now.
That would go along with what the journals and the letters say.
But to be honest, I tend to stay by myself.
Is Lola in the room?
She is there. She is brushing her hair and kind of humming softly to herself.
Not in a very like demanding sort of way. I'm just gonna like ask her casually.
Yeah.
Does she know how to read?
Hey, yo, girl.
Well, I know how to read common.
Okay. I before I hand it to her, I say, "You're looking a lot better. Would you perhaps read these and tell me what you think of these?" And while she does, I want to judge her reactions.
As you, all right. So as you're saying this to her, and you kind of take a look at her, you can't help but notice that yes, she is like her scars are much less prominent, and she does.
That's right.
I mean, she shows the signs of having received some kind of care. And as you tell her that she's looking better, she starts beaming. Like she seemingly this girl does not get compliments very often, so to receive some is very endearing for her. And she says, "Thank you." And she looks at the notes that you hand to her. And before she actually opens them, she looks at the oh no, you just got transcriptions, you don't have the journals.
I've got the journals and oh yeah, I've just got the.
Well, you want her to read them, so she
Yeah.
you handed her the transcriptions.
The comment.
I know some of these words. I heard Mother talking about them. I know she's trying to find Sister Mother. That's somebody she knows. But from a long time ago, I think.
She, as in your mom?
Yeah. She
What do you
said that Sister Mother would talk to her on some nights.
Off to the side so she can't hear. I'm gonna say, didn't you guys kill her?
A giant shack fell on her, and yes, we believe that we killed her.
And when she says that, she looks directly at you and then at Hono. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad she's dead. But she spoke of Sister Mother. That's not her. She fears Sister Mother. But likes her too. Says she's powerful.
What do you remember of your mother, Lola?
She kind of furrows her brow and concentrates and thinks for a moment.
Which she is.
Oh, that rolled off the desk.
I'm not gonna say that. That's creepy.
don't-
actually, I'm going to say
Yeah, I was
it
gonna say that
because
doesn't
of how
stop you
much.
before.
Go on then.
Was she as pretty as you were?
Okay.
Saw that one coming.
I don't remember what she looks like too much. I think she was very pretty, but I don't have many memories of her.
None at all.
She used to teach me how to read in our home. I remember the sunlight through the windows. I remember seeing the big walls and all different kinds of people. And she clasped her hand to her head almost as if it begins to hurt. But I can't remember much else.
It's okay. Have you ever wrote a letter to anybody before?
I sometimes had to write letters for Mother, but no. I was always told that if I found anyone else in the forest that I should run and I should go home.
Okay. Well, we should probably go to rest now. So lay back down and go to sleep.
She yawns loudly. Yes, I'm tired.
The cutest yawn ever right there. One more time, HPG.
Nope. Nope. I swear I felt some of my chest hair like recede into me when I made that sound.
HPG, your vagina showing.
Dude, if I had a vagina, I would spend nothing. I would do nothing all day except like see what fits inside it. That would be like my downtime activity.
Well, you have a close alternative.
Let's see if
Did anyone else want to say anything to Lola before she goes to sleep?
Let her sleep.
Thorwin, you're still outside, by the way.
I wanted to go to bed.
All right, you come back in. As you come in, you Honos and Theon, because you happen to be talking to Lola at this time. So while this conversation's going on, Sorwin walks in, and you notice that Lola starts staring daggers at him,
At who?
but you don't see it.
I didn't hear.
Wait, Lola was staring daggers at Soren.
Yes.
Whoa.
She was in Dare as a kid.
We all noticed this except Soren.
Well, right now, Honos and Theon, you're the only two that are actually engaging Lola in conversation, so you're the only two that are paying attention to her. Sorwin just walks in and goes to bed.
Okay, I look over at Lola and I go, "Do you not like him?"
Through the kind of glare, it's just like, took my mirror.
Yeah.
Don't break it! And she points to you, says it loudly, loud enough for you to hear it, Sorwin.
Whoa. Forgot why I took the place.
What?
what?
How
Words?
I forgot why I took the mirror in the first place.
You took the mirror because it bared a striking resemblance to the mirror that you've already encountered, something that was picked up from the Hag's hut.
Oh, right. Did we show that to anybody?
No,
Last
you
session?
just you tried to take it from her, and the two of you grappled back and forth, and then you asked her and convinced her to give it to you. She was not terribly happy about it.
Not happy. I'd say I just need to borrow it, and I'll promise.
Why did you take it from her?
We literally
Dangerous.
just went over that.
Yeah, I know.
Because it could be dangerous.
Okay.
The little baby girl.
I'm not a
Magic.
baby.
You're a baby girl. Go to bed.
She stands
Have
up
we
defiantly,
found-
putting her hands on her hips. That was a gift. Teresa gave that to me.
Who is
I-
Teresa?
Teresa's the lady that I've been talking to.
Here?
Yes.
Why?
And Honos, you recall having seen Lola walking around the village with an old, kind of haggard-looking lady in white robes.
Why would an old lady here give you a divination device?
A what? She gave me a mirror.
Where's the mirror right now?
Sorwin has it.
I'm gonna take the mirror and I'm gonna put it outside the room.
You're just gonna take it from Sorwin?
Yes.
I give it.
Make a sleight of hand? Okay, you're just gonna
Yes.
give it to him?
Yeah, give me,
Yeah,
give me the mirror.
While
Take the mirror. Take the mirror.
While he's doing this, can I ask her if that has if she's ever been referred to, if anybody's ever stopped Teresa before and called her sister Tethys.
I've never heard anyone say that.
Okay.
She's Teresa. She's nice to me. We had lunch. It was delicious.
Did she know anybody else in the village?
She said she knows lots of people.
But does she have any friends here with the elves? Is she an elf?
No, she's a human. She says she's part of the gleam
Path?
Yes,
Gleaming
yes,
path?
that. And she kind of points happily at you when you finish her sentence.
I want to know what's happening with Joe, so I'm going to stay quiet right now.
I'm gonna go find somebody in charge and ask about Teresa, was it?
Teresa was the name that was given to you.
I'm gonna bury the mirror real quick, and I'm gonna go ask somebody in charge.
You're gonna wait. So where are you burying this mirror?
Just somewhere out of the way. In a
Okay.
like inside a bush.
Okay.
It's not obvious,
Like,
but
bury it or hide it?
just bury it so it's not visible.
All right. So we'll say that you
So
find
hide
a
it.
small bush or shrub nearby to the entrance of the barrow that you're in, and you conceal the mirror amongst the roots and dirt of the base of the plant.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you were going to find someone?
I've met whoever was in charge before, right?
You've met the druid that is in charge of the grove. You've met Arari, who is an acolyte from the Arcanum Spires. And you've met a variety of Gladeborn agents. And Peleus, the Forge Master, along with a couple of other people that run shops within the city. It's
Who-
quite late now.
Who does it seem would be the most reliable to respond to an immediate crisis?
That would be the druid.
Okay, I'll go to him. I'll go back to the group and say we need to meet him.
Sorwin, you happen to know that the druid, Diranor, tends to reside in a barrow just adjacent to yours. Literally around the corner.
Relay this information.
Let's go. And bring
Yeah.
Lola as well.
Okay, so Lola, Honos, who else is coming?
Um,
We're going.
I'm going.
Morris
as
is asleep. He's passed out now.
You're gonna miss the party.
I'm asleep.
Is Morris tucked in?
I mean, no, he... You know what, Morris, you can decide in what state you fell asleep, but you're currently asleep. If somebody chooses to try and wake him, that's up to you.
Face planted in pillow, trying to snore.
But not
Clothes
tucked
on,
in.
boots on, one leg hanging out the bed.
Hugging my battle axe.
Sleeping with his battle axe. Morris, drooling
Okay,
very slightly.
So before I leave, I go over there and touch his pillow, and I cast light on it, making it just really blinding.
The
And then I
room, which
walk
was
out.
the barrow, which was only dimly illuminated before by clusters of pale green or pale blue bioluminescent flowers that are just growing in patches along the woodwork of the roof, or where the soil and stone meets the overhanging roots that form the roof of this building, is now, that light is completely dominated by an overpoweringly bright white light emitted from underneath Morris's head. Morris, I need you to make a perception check with disadvantage.
Actually,
By-
you know what? Was that perception check we did before? Was that supposed to be at disadvantage because I'm exhausted?
Oh shit, you're right. It was supposed to be a
Eh.
disadvantage.
So we'll just pretend I never saw the guy.
Well,
No, I
also
mean we
rolled
can't.
a 19 and a 20.
Yeah, I think you did pretty well, so don't sweat it.
He gets an 11.
Does that mean I stay asleep?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say you're too goddamn drunk. You don't wake up.
Okay. As I'm walking out, I just noticed that he ain't fucking budging, so I just dismissed the spell.
All right, so the light then dims back down as the group of you now. I believe the room is the room still contains the sleeping form of Morris and Mindardus, who has retired for the evening.
Wow.
What happened?
Don't read the stuff.
What stuff?
So
Don't read it.
so Honos, Lola, Sorwin, and Theon, you round the corner, the very short walk, and you knock on the door of a different barrow. There's a kind of rustling sound, and arriving at the door in relatively thin sleeping robes is the somewhat elderly form of the druid Diranor, looking a little bleary-eyed, kind of rubbing one eye, looking out the door confusedly. Is there something I can help you with?
We need to talk about there possibly being a hag within your village.
When you say that, his eyes widen. He seems to snap to attention, standing up a little bit more straight. There's a hag in the village.
Possibly.
And he looks down at Lola
Besides
and come in. And he stands aside and kind of opens the door to his barrow. This one's a little bit more nicely decorated. There are a few pieces of furniture strewn around. There's a relatively ornately carved wooden bed. The headboard is simple, kind of curving backwards away from where a simple mattress with a fur blanket lay over top of it. There is a tea set in the corner of the room and a bookshelf that seems to be full of various books.
And it has less scent of recreational drugs.
It has less scent of recreational drugs, but there is still a scent, that of incense burning, in one of the other ends of the room. You say there's a hag in this village. The barrier has been active for more than a day then. We would have detected anything coming in.
I tell him about, what was her name?
Teresa.
Teresa giving Lola a mirror that has divination powers. And that we found the others in the group found notes regarding the hag they killed before, corresponding with another hag.
If true, this is of serious portent. What makes you think this hag resides within our village?
Because she gave Lola this mirror earlier today. I can't see another reason why a person would give away such a powerful magical device to a child, other than to use it.
Lola pipes up at this and says, "She said it was mine."
I'm gonna turn to him. I'm gonna say, that worries me even more.
The druid Diranor, he reaches out as if, anticipating you to hand him the mirror.
I'm not gonna bring a divination device anywhere near me when I'm talking about stuff like this.
Where is our mirror?
I believe, actually, you know what? You'd have to check your inventories. I don't know which one of you still has it. The last time it was used, I believe it was after it was handed to Urun, that he could try and view where his brother was. Who took it after that?
No, that's the mirror I hid.
I thought you hid the mirror you just took from Lola.
No, I took the mirror from
We took the mirror that I had from Lola.
Yes, but
There's possibly two.
The group of you
mirrors,
collected
Joe.
a mirror There are two mirrors. The group of you collected one from the hag's hut, and
I don't know. What that
Sorwin took one of them from Lola. That was the one that initially you viewed your apprentices through. This is the one
And
that
cave.
Theon
really?
viewed his mother through. Yeah. So you guys got that mirror from the hag's hut.
Oh,
And
I thought
after-
that mirror was Lola's mirror.
No, you have a different mirror.
Okay.
Sorry, I should say the one that you hid, that you collected from Sorwin, that is supposedly from Lola, is different in its design, slightly less ornate, but it is a silver mirror nonetheless.
Okay, then I think this conversation would have gone slightly differently.
The druid Diranor looks to you and presses. So, you believe this hag is within the village?
Yes, her guise would be Miss what's her name again?
Teresa?
Teresa.
I'm gonna have to stop filling in these names. You guys gotta remember them.
I'd like
I'm
to
bad vibes.
ask
It's been a while.
everybody else. Didn't we see somebody Soren leave Lola in the watch of this Teresa? Wasn't there a caretaker that she was left with?
The caretaker was the old woman in the white robe. She
So
appeared to be looking
It was
at her.
Teresa.
Are you going to ask that to Lola?
Yes.
She immediately answers in the affirmative. That was the woman. That was Teresa, as you described the
So-
person that you saw.
Not only has she been in the village, she has also been in the Sacred Grove.
You never saw Teresa in the Sacred Grove.
Wasn't she in the burrow with
No, she's not been in any burrow. The only time you've seen this woman in the white robe is with Lola walking around the village.
I thought she was preparing like food for her and Soren like left her with her. Or did we like leave her at a house or something?
Lola?
Yeah.
The last contact you had with Lola was leaving her in the barrow, and then you saw her in the company of this woman, and then you left the village.
Okay, so she like wandered out of the grove herself.
Well, Lola's not a prisoner per se.
Yeah.
The conditions of her staying within the village were that as long as she does not pose a threat, she is going to be under the supervision of the Gladeborn and the Druid. And if she poses a threat, they will all kill her. That is the stipulation for her staying in the village.
Okay. While these guys continue talking, I'm going to walk out to where those Gladeborn guards were around Hosk and talk to them. Hopefully find out some information on this.
You step outside the Druid's barrow, and there are 4 Gladeborn immediately on the outside of the door.
Oh. I asked them if they've ever seen a woman in white robes from the Gleaming Path talking to Lola.
Yes, she entered the village shortly before the barrier was erected.
And
You
has
need
she
to get
ever...
in here and tell us that?
I immediately run in and tell them really quickly, hey, your guards outside are saying she was in the barrier prior to it being put up.
To which Dirno responds, that might explain why we did not detect her. Any evil entity passing through the barrier is registered with whoever is maintaining it. They will be detected.
Inside the barrier already.
If she arrived before the barrier was erected, we have no way of detecting her. She must pass through it for us to know her location.
We need to find her immediately.
You believe she's still here, then?
If she
Well,
has
she
to
hasn't
pass
passed
through
through
that
it.
barrier, then yes.
Then yes, we must. And with this...
Oh, go ahead.
I know, go for it, go for it.
I walk back outside to ask the guards if they've seen her recently.
As you do this, Diranor follows behind you. We must find her. It is of great importance if what they have told me is true. The four Gladeborn that are standing there look amongst themselves. We will find her. And the four of them nod their heads and dart off. Let's see. So who's outside right now? It is Diranor and Theon. Is anybody else outside, or are you all still inside? That would be Honos, Lola, and Sorwin.
We're still inside.
Okay, Theon, I need you to make a perception check.
Perception?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. That's a 19, by the way.
Why is it a 19?
Because I have -1 on perception.
Oh, right. You mean you rolled a 19, yes.
Yeah.
You notice these four agents begin to kind of step backwards and almost blend into the shadows before taking off in different directions. Are you going to wait for their return, or are you going, like, what are you guys going to do?
I'm gonna go get the mirror.
All right, you root around through the bushes and you eventually retrieve the mirror that you placed there just a few minutes prior.
And did we find out where the other mirror was?
That was in somebody's possession after it was handed to Arun. The last person that I believe had it was you, Honos. So you should right now have 2. Unless somebody else's inventory reads Silver Mirror.
Put
What
the
about the
two
guy who's not
mirrors
here?
I
together.
don't have it in my inventory.
Okay, somebody else has it then.
What if it's the guy who's not
I
here?
don't think anybody's been.
I'm pretty sure
back up
Joe's character has it. It was just never recorded.
Okay. Joe, could you please add Silver Mirror to your inventory? Actually, I guess 2 Silver Mirrors right now. As you take the first one out, you look at the 2 of them, and there is a difference. The first
Well,
one,
if
the
I
one
had
that you
the-
collected...
If
Yeah?
I had both, I would have hidden them both together.
Okay. All right. Well, then when you retrieve the 2 of them, looking at them as a point of comparison, the one that you retrieve from the Hag's Hut is more or... Actually, you know what? Make an investigation check? No, sorry, perception. Perception. You're just looking at it.
Nope. That's a
I
hard
mean,
no.
there's a little difference in them. Like, one's got some, like, gems and sparkly stuff, but, I mean, it's 2 silver mirrors. They got a handle. They got a shiny part. It's a mirror.
Yep. Well, I don't need to know anything else besides that at least one of them is a divination tool, and the other one might be a receiver used to spy.
So you have these 2 mirrors.
Yep. I'm gonna bring them to Mr. Druid Guy.
All right, you bring them to Diranor, and he takes a look at the 2 of them. So you suspect that these are divination tools.
One of them definitely is.
Yes, I recall what happened to you and Theon when you looked into it. Also, that boy, where is he? I haven't seen him for a day or so.
No idea.
You're talking about Arun.
You gather that he is referring to Arun.
Okay. I don't know. That would be a question to ask Big Mo.
Yeah, he's kind of passed out right now.
While this is going on, the rock that Hosk is sleeping on, is that a good vantage point?
It's not a very tall rock. The rocks where the small spring is coming out of are much, much higher. So the ones where the spring is coming out of in the pool forms, they're about 3 meters, 3.5 meters tall. The rocks that Hosk is on are a little bit further forward, are much flatter and shorter. They're only about 1.5 feet off the ground.
Okay, I'm not going to go up there then.
Well, the surrounding trees of the glade are much taller than the rocks. So
Yeah.
they pretty much everything aside from the argent oak in the grove is dwarfed by the trees that surround it. The only thing bigger than the trees is the argent oak itself. What's everybody doing?
I tell Honos that he should
Sleeping.
take the one mirror and the other mirror and make them face each other, and maybe it'll cause feedback.
I ignore him.
You currently have in your hands you've handed to Diranor the 2 silver mirrors, and he hands them back to you. Actually, I got to do a few rolls here. Oh, let me see. What's the bonus to that?
Can I go mention something of this to Arari?
You certainly can.
Okay, I'm gonna go and it's gonna be brief because I know she has to keep up the barrier, but I'm going to let her know that there's a strong possibility that the barrier was built around one of these hags.
I'll tell him to wake Big Mo on his way back.
All right, so Theon, you go and inform Arari of this, and as you knock on the door to her burrow, you actually get a response from her almost immediately. You hear a tired, "What is it?"
This is an emergency.
"Oh, Theon, come in."
And I tell her what I was going to go say.
So as you open the door, you see the halfling Arari is in just a regular nightgown. Her hair is kind of loose and unkempt and hanging down her back. She's actually working on something at the moment. She's cast light into a nearby. Essentially, it's a nearby kind of nodule of one of the roots that appears to be emitting a light, and she's kind of tossed a cloth over top of it to effectively act as a shade to this source of light. So the whole interior of this room is bathed in kind of a soft maroon color, and you see her kind of working with a quill and paper, and you can see some of the other journals that she's taken pieces of that are arrayed around her desk as you come in. What did you ask her?
I want to let her know that the barrier was possibly built around one of the hags. And
Wait, there's another one?
that is what we believe. She may have given Lola another divination mirror.
Well, didn't she create the translation? Shouldn't she have realized what it meant?
You're not there, Honos.
No, I'm talking as an abstract.
Oh, I see. The only other hag that was mentioned in the journals was this sister mother character, but there's no mention of her in what's come out that she's...
Lola has stated that the person that she was captured by was not necessarily afraid of Sister Mother, but knew that she was by far more powerful. And we are hoping that that's not her.
Wait, there was another one mentioned in those journals.
Sister Tethys?
Yes, that was it. And she points at you as you say that. Could it be her? I can't think of any other creature a hag would consider a sister than another hag.
Lola did mention that her name was Teresa and she was from the Gleaming Path. And that kind of makes me wonder. Do you
When
perhaps
you
know
when
anything
you say
about her?
that piece of information, Arari seems to almost kind of chuckle. It's like, well, if she's part of the Gleaming Path, then I wouldn't really worry. They wander all over the island. They're harmless.
Wouldn't that be a great guise to pull over people's eyes?
I suppose it would. Theon, make an intelligence check.
Oh, shit. Shit.
You have a vague recollection of amongst the things that were retrieved from the chest that you drew out of the hag's hovel, there was a very tattered, dirty-looking white robe.
Oh shit. I pulled that out of my inventory, and
Wait, who took that? I thought Pedwin took that.
did Pedwin take it?
To my knowledge,
I think
you
I took
you
it,
took
yeah.
the
Oh
you
yeah,
took the
that's
fancy
right.
robe. Pedwin as a joke, like put on the white robe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
So you don't have that robe.
No, I don't.
Big Mo.
I do remember it though.
You do remember it. You barely managed to recall some that looked like a white robe.
I do like. I tell her that after the battle, and we checked the chest, there was a quite tattered white robe. Maybe the hags are playing, a role of the Gleaming Path.
But if that's the case, they could have been anywhere on this island. They could have been in the spires.
That is correct.
No,
And-
wait, no. We would have known if they were in the spires. There's wards around that. No, they couldn't have gotten there. But if what you say is true, and they were here before I put up the barrier, then they might still be here.
Correct. She was inside the village when the barrier was created.
Honos, you and Diranor notice out of a nearby pathway, seemingly emerging from the shadows themselves, are two Gladeborn agents wearing their masks and cloaks. We've completed our survey of the village. We cannot find this white-robed woman.
Well, we're fucked.
Damn.
You're not there.
I know.
But it is about this time that you head back towards the barrow, and at Honos' request, you re-enter the barrow to awaken Morris, who is once again sleeping soundly on a non-luminous pillow. Are you going to try and wake him?
He's asking you, Honos.
No, I'm asking you, Theon.
Oh,
You were the one in
okay,
the room
I-
with Morris.
Oh, okay. So I've already left the room with the Rari.
Unless there was anything else you wanted to say to her. Oh, actually, sorry, there is something else, but go on. Is there anything else you want to say to Arari?
The last thing I wanted to say was, is a hag able to enter in the sacred grove without being detected as well? Are
That's a
there
question.
any wards here?
That's a question for Diranor, but no, I don't think any hag could walk into the grove. It's protected. It's been hallowed. If something fiendish or an aberration were to enter it, then most certainly they would know. You'd see plants spring up and seal off the entire thing. It's designed to be protected.
Well, that might be a advantage point then that we might have if this person decides to not want to interact with us. And then I leave.
Wait,
And
Theon, before you go,
Yes?
she pulls off from her desk a piece of parchment that is seemingly blank and hands it to you. I meant to include that in the translations. It's late. I'm kind of tired. It's a scroll of transcription. I'll be able to update you with the things that I find, but you'll have to leave those journals here.
Okay. So it just to clarify, HPG, it's
Yep.
kind of like a email of sorts.
Well, as she describes it to you, she basically explains that pretty much at sunrise, you'll be able to relay any message she's written on her copy of the parchment the previous day. So basically, every morning you'll be updated with what she has found the night before. And then you can write out a response to her that she will receive the next morning.
Ooh, very cool.
And the trigger point is noon.
Emails.
In rudimentary kind, yeah. Magical email.
You have her email address?
Yeah. I bet you Pedwin would want this.
Kosef
And
is
then-
going to sue you for copyright.
Who?
It was a good idea, man.
The funny thing is there is actually like a whisper spell where I can like just point in like a general direction of
I
somebody
think
within.
I think for that one you have to see the person. There's also the spell sending, which is different.
there
There's
there
also
is
message.
there are notes.
Or sorry, message. Yeah, sorry.
There are-
Sending I think is the cantrip and message is the spell.
There are notes in whisper that if I do know that they're that way, that there's a chance I think or something like that that it would be received, but I don't believe that they need to be.
Sending is unlimited.
But sending's the one that you cast a spell and whoever like they got as long as they're on the same plane of existence. But I think,
Yeah. Message,
that's-
I think is nearby-ish.
And-
and then
but that's the
Whisper is-
cantrip, right?
No, I think Whisper is cantrip.
There's a spell called Whisper. I need to take a leak. I'll be right back.
Okay. Gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get a snack.
I want more French fries.
There's no Whisper spell, so I guess just message. Message is a cantrip.
Game, you're not doing enough.
Dude, it's been a long day. I'm here. How about that?
Pull your fist out of your vagina and play the game.
Fucking.
I also have like little idea what's going on.
You haven't asked. Like, just like speak up.
I don't know. You guys are killing it. you guys are asking good questions, man. I'm just here, man. Don't worry about me. But I'm in the trees,
Goddamn.
For message, you
like
don't
the
need,
wind.
You don't need line of sight, but they do have to be within 120 feet.
How about whisper?
There's no Whisper spell.
There is no whisper spell.
There's no Whisper spell.
Which cantrip was I looking at that time?
You're probably message, which is a cantrip. There is, like talking to directly to someone's mind, which is another spell.
Man, that rum is strong stuff. I'm like semi-drunk right now.
Is that where the yawn came from?
No, I'm sure it partially was contributed by the drunkenness because I'm more willing to embarrass myself.
Oh man, so that means I should have tried flirting with her.
It would have been awkward as hell, Steve, but I would have done it.
That's why I backed down, because it would be awkward.
Oh, you bet your ass it would be awkward.
Yep.
Okay, so is everybody back, by the way? I think
But I'm like
wasn't-
6
didn't
beers
Game said he
in,
was
so...
staying away. Fuck, man, you're ahead of me. I gotta get more drinks.
Oh.
No, actually, no. I'm the DM. I can't do that. Okay. So
It would just make the campaign funnier.
it also might cause me to like miss important stuff. So I'll drink after the game's done.
We'll tie it up after it's done. We'll tie
Okay,
up
deal.
your sins.
Deal. All right. So, Sorwin, were you saying something?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So right now, Honos has the mirrors. Diranor has kind of been left in his room, and Theon, you've just received your scroll of transcription, and you are now standing inside the barrow, nearby to the bed of the sleeping Morris Armstrong.
Is someone
I,
sleeping with me?
No, he's standing nearby, and you are soundly
I'm
asleep.
gonna try to wake you up here.
Morris, make a perception check with disadvantage.
Let me find. There it is. Perception.
Oh, you would have been disadvantage anyway, but whatever. In and amongst your dream, and you can go ahead and describe whatever dream you're having, you are vaguely aware of a slight jostling.
Okay.
Why is the wind picking up and shaking this tree so much?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna step it up. Is there a candle nearby?
There are no candles. The room is lit via the luminescent flowers, pale greens and blues.
Damn these goddamn hippies.
Just give him a good slap.
I'm kind of scared of Mo. Damn it.
Yes, keep in mind Mo has exhaustion level 2 and he wants to sleep.
Oh, really? You level 2?
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Okay. Spectral hand.
What are you doing, Theon?
Very cautiously to try to dodge any kind of
Retaliatory
retort.
strikes.
Yeah. I touch his eyelid and cast light.
Okay.
So, Morris, what are you dreaming about right now?
I don't remember her name. Tinny.
Her face is replaced with blindingly bright light. She is so radiant that it is almost as if there is a really bright light being held
She
up to
is
your
an-
eye right now.
She is an angel. She is so radiant.
And you are unfortunately ripped away from this gorgeous visage of the elf you've come to
And
know in
I
the past
stop
few
the
days.
spell.
All right. So, just to get
You
this
sit
clear,
upright in bed.
I am awake.
You are awake now.
I
and
am
you are
blind
pissed.
in one eye. I am exhausted. I am pissed. And
You
there's
just had a
someone
very
standing
nice
in the
dream interrupted.
I
And there
quickly
is-
stop and say, Lola is in danger and she needs your help to save her.
Then I yell out, "You woke me from my beauty sleep!"
Lola's gonna die.
As I pull out my great axe.
But you don't really need to pull it out. You were sleeping with it. You kind of have it.
As I take my great axe and emphasize that it is out in front of me, I start walking towards shit, I forgot Drake's character's name.
Aeon.
Theon. Very angry. Very angry looking.
Theon, you successfully cast light on the eyelid of one Morris Armstrong who is asleep, who promptly bolts upright in bed, looks at you as you dispel the light spell off of his eye, and picks up his axe and starts stepping menacingly towards you.
I look at him and I go, good, because we're gonna need that anger to take out on another hag.
I don't give a shit. All I know is I was woken up. I am deaf with should I rage?
That is entirely up to you, man. You
No.
decide when and how much you rage. How many rages can you do a day?
This would be my last one.
I see. Well, it is up to you whether or not you engage your last rage of the day.
Mo,
Pretty sure he's
I
already
just
enraged.
want you to know that this might be your last thumbs up you could give Lola.
Oh my god.
I'm still angry. Walking towards Drek.
I walk out and go to Honos and tell him that I've woken him up.
I follow him out angrily. I want to. On my way out, can I try kicking the door open so it flies off the hinges? Is that something I can try doing?
Make a strength check.
Okay, but it would be a disadvantage, right?
Everything's a disadvantage right now as far as ability checks are concerned.
Shit! Did I roll a 1? No.
7.
So you, Morris, in your pissed off fury, you're not willing to attack Theon right now, but you take out your frustration on the door and you kick it right where it's the doorknob is, and it swings loudly and bangs against the exterior. It nearly comes off of its hinges, but it manages to
Shit.
stay intact. But it is now very much open. The cool night air is starting to permeate the room that you're in, refreshing your
I'll-
senses.
Step outside and look around. Uh-oh.
As you look around, you see Honos is standing there with two silver objects in his hand, resembling the mirror that you saw him and Theon and Urun peer into yesterday. Or no, it would have been earlier today, this morning.
And I grasp the situation and ask, "What's this about?"
Theon, why'd you wake him? He needed his beauty sleep.
Did everyone outside hear me scream that?
Make a perception check.
I have to make a perception check
You
With
do.
disadvantage.
With disadvantage. That's right.
to see if people heard me.
I think he meant us to make the perception check.
No, I meant Morris.
Oh.
That was a great roll.
Yeah.
You do notice that your room is flanked by a couple of Gladeborn who seem to be staring rather bemusedly at you. You can imagine that given the volume that you spoke to Theon, yeah, they probably heard you.
All right. I ask what it's about. What's going on? I've calmed down some. I'm still tired.
Well, there's currently a hag hidden out in the village.
It could be Tinny.
I don't
Nonsense.
think it's Tinny.
Nonsense.
You don't know.
So who is it?
She appeared here, what, 2 days ago?
Well, how
Who are you
does-
asking?
You.
What are you asking?
When
me?
Will the guard-
was the barrier created?
The barrier was created, I think, the day before. Yeah, I think it was created yesterday. This is the very end of the second day the barrier's been up.
So 2 days ago, she arrived and gave Lola a mirror that has the same powers as the other mirror that we found.
You don't know that.
Well,
It's just a silver mirror.
it's just a silver mirror.
Let me see this mirror.
So Morris, Honos, you're gonna let him have the mirror?
No.
Right now, you're hanging on to both of them.
I'm gonna continue to hang on to both of them.
All right.
Oh no.
Morris, you want to look at one of these mirrors, but this old guy won't let you do it.
I take it from him anyways. Jeez.
Uh,
I'll show them to him.
No, I want to look at it. I want to feel it.
I'll hand them the stupid mirrors.
both of them?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm
I
gonna
examine-
go off and find Theon's gnome friend,
Harari.
Rarari.
It's at this time that a halfling comes bounding up in a nightgown with a look of concern on her face. And as she runs up, something just went through the barrier.
In or out?
Out. And she whistles loudly. And even at the statement that she made, Morris, you notice the two Gladeborn agents that were nearby to you dashed immediately and left the scene. Honos, you caught us the ascent of that as well. Well, the direction is indicated by Arari as she points towards the entrance to the village. She says, "That way."
I take off running.
I start running as well, but my speed is halved, so I'll show up late.
I'll follow behind Honos.
All right, so Sorwin, what are you doing in this whole time?
I'm following everybody else.
All right.
What are you guys doing?
So
What's going on?
so Arari, Diranor, and a number of Gladeborn agents, the group of you arrive. You pass by some of the buildings you've passed on the way here. You see structures that are, some of them rise up out of the ground. Some of them have stone courtyards. Many of them incorporate a lot of the nearby trees into their architecture. And as you run up towards the entrance, where you recall initially two large, gnarled, twisted trunks seem to actually burst forth out of the ground to form a bridge that allowed access across this loud river. The sound of the rushing water is increasingly loud as the group of you get towards the entrance of the village. At this point, the moon has passed its zenith. There is a very, very distinct crescent. It is only a few days off of the new moon, and it's casting, what little light it is casting allows you to follow the pathways. And as you arrive at the entrance of the village, there is one figure standing there surrounded by three other Gladeborn agents. He is slightly taller, and his cloak appears to be very, very finely made. And you can see, as you view him from behind, there are what appear to be roughly triangular or slightly conic kind of protrusions off of what will be the forehead of this creature. And they are, even in what little light is being reflected, they have a bright metallic gold sheen to them. He appears to be speaking to different pairs of agents and pointing off in other directions. And as he finishes his motions and his words, the 6 or so Gladeborn that are arrayed in front of him take off in different directions. As the group of you run up, you basically reach the back of this character, and as he spins around, there are what greets you is where the other Gladeborn have this silvery mask with a kind of leaf design or motif on it. This one is consisting of broad, almost feather-like protrusions that are made out of gold that taper off into black points, and they move off in a wide fan shape from where the eyes of this creature are, and they seem to actually radiate outwards from the holes where the rather piercing green eyes are staring at each of you as they seem to check each person out one by one, sizing you up. The figure has not said anything.
I'm gonna try and is there a cover in the area around it?
Right now you are at, okay, so is everyone looking at the map?
Yep.
So you are right about here right now. So the only cover are the
Say that
rows of
again.
trees that I'll ping it again. So you have
Okay.
just gotten up to the foot of, here, let me actually drag some people over here. We got Morris, Honos, Sorwin, Theon.
Wait, is Mendardus here? Did somebody wake him up?
No one has woken up Mendardus. Mendardus is still asleep.
Okay.
Oh,
He's a hunter. He can track us.
Or continue sleeping?
He didn't wake up from my screaming about beauty sleep.
We will find out. Okay, so the group of you have arrived pretty much at the entrance of the village. And you are standing face to face with this cloaked figure with this kind of gold and black mask that is looking back at you. Why are you here?
Oh, is this the Gladeborn dude? Or is this the monster?
There is no monster.
Okay, I'm very confused then.
Okay, sorry. Let
Are we
me.
outside the barrier?
You're not outside the barrier. No. When you arrived, you saw this particular individual you're looking at now seemingly giving orders to a number of Gladeborn, who then followed his orders. As he turns around, his mask is metallic. It is in the design and motif of an owl. And instead of a silver and leaf motif, his has gold and black, what look like feathers that radiate out and come to a point very much like the beak and feathers of an owl. The cloak draws close around the shoulders and comes together in a seam, so you can see nothing of this person's body. Essentially, all you see is this supported golden mask that is staring at you.
None of us want to die in our sleep to a hag. Want to make sure it's dead.
Has this person, this is the way that the hag ran, right? Or the thing in the barrier. So I ask him, did you see anybody run by just moments ago?
Yes, that's why we are here. Arari, I am glad you have arrived. What did you see? And Arari kind of clears her throat. Well, I was concerned a little earlier today. There was something that passed into the barrier, and it was around the time that you all arrived, and there was something dark in there, but this was different. This was cunning. It was manipulative, and it was moving much faster. This thing was fleeing. It must know we're after it. At this point,
How
yeah?
much of the conversation happened around the mirrors? I forget.
The announcement by Arari that she felt something pass through the barrier happened by the mirrors.
While
The
Mo
Well,
was
before that.
holding him.
Oh, when I showed him the mirrors. Okay.
you showed him the mirrors, and then he said to you that you thought these were divination tools, and then you talked about how you would
Yeah, I
come into
remember.
possession of this mirror.
I remember now.
And
Okay.
Mo still has the mirrors.
Yeah, Mo has the mirrors.
Yes, Mo took them both. Mo, you were
So
standing
she's
there
sharing everything
with two
again.
silver mirrors.
I'll put them in my backpack.
All right, you shove them in your bag.
I would suggest you leave those in the village, away from anything important.
I give them to the halfling, or whatever she is.
Now you give them to she's a halfling, Arari.
I give them to her.
Okay, fine. I will take these then. All right, and shoves them in her bag.
I give her a thumbs up.
Cool. And she kind of looks at you and then looks around. So this thing is still out there. Definitely, totally still out there right now.
Let's go kill it.
You know what we could really use? A ranger who can track. Oops.
Possibly Hosk as well.
What's the chances of me yelling really loud and waking up Mendardis?
The chances are pretty mild.
Disadvantage.
But it is about this time that running up is Mendardis, your elven companion, having just finished putting on his armor, having gathered his materials and supplies. What's going on here?
I was woken up.
Yeah, I heard that.
We're tracking the hag. Or a hag.
Okay. He immediately sets to searching the area for whatever tracks he can find. I gotta roll this on his sheet.
Did Hosk wake up too?
Hosk is not there from what you can tell.
I
Mendardis.
quickly ask
Helpful.
around.
What
Soren,
is hell for Hosk?
I ask Soren if Diranor would protect him or be able to keep him in there.
Is Lula with us?
Nope. You guys left Lola.
What? Guys.
So Mendardis rolls a natural 20 on his survival. So as he is looking around, he comes to a point just off of the stone area that from which some of the roots that form the bridge across the river, which is currently receded, is a large rushing river in front of the entrance to the village that seems to be framed by trees that act almost as pillars, which then meld into the canopy above you. He calls out, "I found something!"
Lead the way.
What did you find?
What he reveals to you are a series of footprints that, as he describes what it is that he's found, these footprints seem to go from a normal kind of human-sized boot print. They gradually grow larger and larger, and they eventually turn into a different number of digits. Instead of the normal 5, it's down to 4. And the 4 that are there are somewhat elongated, and there appears to be...
Toes.
Well, there are definitely toes, but in between the toes there seems to be a kind of membrane that has caused a different shape as far as the footprint is concerned. While
a
the
very
toes
long
themselves are
penis.
elongated, No, while the toes themselves are elongated and jointed and rather thick, and you can see that the size of the footprint, its silhouette actually increases. But there is some kind of membrane between the digits themselves, and then they simply stop at the very edge of the village.
Does it look reptilian?
Make an investigation check.
While this is going on, can I turn back and
I was asking Mindardus.
No, you're gonna make an investigation check.
Damn it.
before we go further, I want to turn back and talk to like the guy with the mask and stuff, and the halfling, and then ask, can someone make sure Lola doesn't leave the sacred grove?
The figure within the mask responds, "She is being watched, even now. If
Cool.
anything happens to her, we will know."
And what of Hosk, the lizard?
From my last report, he is still asleep in the grove.
Will he be okay?
Assuming he doesn't get alcohol poisoning.
The figure in the mask kind of turns to you, and Arari turns to you at the same time. And you can't see the expression on the masked figure's face, but you can see Arari's. And there is one eyebrow that is very highly raised and curved in a very, very questioning glance. As in, like, what did you just say?
I have a big smile and shake my wineskin.
I asked him if they'd be okay. He was not welcomed with open arms when we first arrived. You know what? I'm going to go get Hosk, and I'll be right back.
As you are leaving, you hear this individual, the masked individual, speak. "My men will follow their orders. It is not to be harmed for now." And Theon, as you leave the scene, you head towards the sacred grove, and you do pass by an increased number of Gladeborn that you saw the first time. Initially, you spotted only 2. There are now 4 that appear to be around the perimeter of the glade, or the grove. But undisturbed is Hosk, curled up on that rock.
I talk to him in Draconian, and I say, Hosk, we must go.
You move up and you nudge Hosk to try and wake him from his slumber. And the snoring seems to be interrupted for a moment and otherwise just continues. There is a slight smell of alcohol that seems to be coming off of his general vicinity.
I take off my robe of defense, and I roll him onto it. And
You roll him onto the robe?
yes.
So like you lay the robe down on the ground and you like push
Now
him
he's
off the
on
rock?
it. No, on the robe.
Oh, you lay the robe over him?
I'm gonna
Just-
use it as a tarp to pull him.
Okay. I need you to make one strength check to push him off the rock onto the robe. Theon, you move around to the far side of the rock, and the grove has a slight hill structure to it, so you're on a slight decline. And as you push against the larger than you form of Hosk, your feet kind of scrape into the ground, and you start to dig a small furrow where each boot is, but you cannot move Hosk from his position.
I get it. I'm a weak fuck. I try one last time, and I tell, I don't want to lie to him, though. I wake him up one more time, and I say, we need to find Otum.
Wow, that is surprising. Okay. So you lean down and you whisper to him in Draconic that you need to find Otum. And his head perks up for a moment and he looks at you And as you look into his eyes, you can see that his eyes are kind of making small circles, and he really, really cannot focus on you. And he leans over the side of the rock and then just vomits. And after he finishes vomiting, he just puts his head back down and just goes right back to sleep. I'm not kidding. Every time you asked him, you tried to wake him up, I rolled his perception,
Yeah.
and
he's
with disadvantage, and he rolled a 1 twice.
I'm trying to think if there's any way I can like. I don't have any spells. Okay, I lead back to the group and ask Arari if he can point him in the direction of where we are going when he wakes up.
As you leave the grove and you're heading back towards your party, you can't help but notice a small kind of chuckling sound from a couple of the Gladeborn as you walk out. While this has been going on, Honos, Sorwin, and Morris, you've still been staying at the entrance with Mindardus, Arari, and this masked figure. And by now, 2 Gladeborn agents have come back to this golden masked individual, and Theon's not there yet. Morris, do you know Elvish?
Maybe.
I know Elvish.
You know Elvish? Okay, so Honos knows Elvish. So Morris, I think you know Elvish or Dwarvish, one of those two. Which one do
I
you
know
know?
Elvish, but nobody knows that.
Right, okay, so both of you are keeping that to yourselves, so you know.
I know
you-
Elvish.
Yes, of course, because you're a half elf.
Did it.
So all of you here, these 2 individuals that have reported to the one of the Golden Mask, you hear them say in Elvish, "We've tried to track her down. Whatever this is, it seems to have eluded us. There must be something aiding it, something unnatural. Perhaps it is a caster." The individual in the golden mask, you see their head bow for a moment, and a barely audible sigh escapes. The 2 Gladeborn that are there stand to attention as he perks his head back up and says to them, "We will double the watch for tonight. 2 teams will move at our outermost perimeter. Nothing enters this village without our knowledge. Do you understand?" And the moment he finishes that sentence, you hear a synchronous from the 2 individuals in front of him, a "yes, sir," and they take off. One towards the western end of the village, one towards the eastern end. And as they are leaving, you can see other individuals emerge from the trees and pair up with these 2 as they take off towards their respective positions.
I'll drunkenly say, "Oh, but things can leave the village."
Oh shit!
The individual in the gold mask stops for a moment and then looks towards you. And then says to you in Elvish, "Nothing that I am unaware of." And then brushes past you, kind of nudging your shoulder as he goes by, and walks past the entire group off towards the eastern portion of the village.
Oh, he made you look a bitch.
What?
He made you look a bitch.
No. I'm stronger than him. I can guarantee it.
He also knows that you know Elvish now.
I didn't say anything.
You said to him, "But nothing that leaves."
Oh shit, you're right. I hope no one else picked up on it.
Everyone that understood Elvish heard you say that. Or, well,
Shit.
actually, everybody that was there heard you say that.
Yeah,
so
so
pretty
keep
much
it
everybody
around.
now knows that you understand Elvish.
Oh, well, secret's out. I won't make a big deal about it.
That's awesome. I love it because you don't realize because you're drunk.
Both in real life and the game.
Uh-huh.
It's a good state to be in.
The ultimate role playing.
Arari turns towards your group and says, I have to get back to maintaining the barrier. I will see you in the morning. Theon, don't lose that.
I will be watching.
I'll have something for you by the time you leave, as she's walking off and heads back towards her room beneath the sacred grove. The four of you are now standing at the entrance to the village, the sound of the river, which is moving at a moderate pace. You can hear the rushing of the water against the rocks. You hear the squeaking of bats as they move to and from the trees. And what do you decide to do?
I'm gonna go to sleep.
I really want to sleep.
I'm gonna go to sleep.
Everyone heads back to their respective rooms.
I'm gonna find a place. I'm gonna wait until everyone else goes to sleep. Then I'm gonna find a place not near Lola to go to sleep.
You're not going to sleep near Lola?
Nope.
All right, where are you going to sleep? You're just going to find anywhere?
Oh wait,
Anywhere not in the same room.
before we go to sleep,
Okay.
I punched Theon for waking me up.
Make an attack roll. Theon, what's your AC?
My AC is 14.
So, Theon, as you are heading in towards your room, your mind has
Does-
committed itself to
does-
sleep.
Does a 14 hit me?
If his attack roll matches your AC, it does hit.
Okay, I cast shield on myself.
All right, mark off your casting of shield. So, Morris, as you're heading in towards the room, you're actually just behind Theon, and you're going to basically turn to head towards bed. You just take a swing at him, and as you do, almost as if he was expecting you to pull something, your fist seems to glance off. As soon as you make contact with the shoulder that you were intending to punch, there seems to be a kind of sheen over top of Theon's shoulder, and as your fist makes contact, it's almost like ice and it just slips right off, and your fist seems to actually glide off of his body, seemingly doing no damage.
At this point, I
I grumble, weak ass bitch, and
I
head
just
to bed.
say, good night, Mo.
Weak ass bitch.
Predictive bitch. Didn't
All
say
right.
that. Didn't say that.
So, everyone goes to sleep. Honos, as you leave the room and you're perusing around trying to find a spot to sleep in, you see underneath the door of the druid Diranor's room, there is still a soft light being emitted from underneath there.
Do I hear anything going on?
You can hear a slight creaking, almost as if someone is kind of getting out of a chair, and you hear the occasional scribble of quill on parchment.
I'll move on.
All right, as you peel off from there, you essentially looking for a place to sleep, and there's nowhere that's necessarily indoors. There are benches and other areas that may work, but nothing that would really compare to, say, a bed.
How cold is it outside?
It's not very cold. Within your armor, you're not terribly uncomfortable.
I'm actually not armored.
Wait, you don't have any armor on at all?
I have my traveling cloak and such, but I don't have any armor now.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Because I was
well-
transported here by random.
right.
Didn't have armor on.
Right. Well, it's strange. When you were outside the village, it felt kind of cold and uncomfortable, and there was a bit of a breeze that would every so often come through and kind of get through the fabric of your clothing and down to your skin, chilling you. But since entering the village, the air seems to be quite calm.
I'll just find
And-
somewhere out of the way to take a nap.
All right, so you sit yourself down, putting your back to a tree, and as you begin to drift off into sleep, you notice that despite the fact that your conditions are not terribly good, it's actually rather comfortable and peaceful. There's a strange serenity that seems to permeate this village.
Good old elf trees.
All right, and everyone goes to sleep. You awake the next morning. Honos, you are an early riser because you happen to be roused from the sound of footsteps and individuals moving about with hustle. What is immediately apparent is there are more Gladeborn that are out right now. The ones you saw before tended to stick to the trees and try to keep their presence relatively unnoticed. There is a very clear and evident presence of Gladeborn in the village as you wake this morning.
Did we reset everything?
You regain half your hit dice. You go to full health. All spell slots are refilled. And Morris, you lose 1 level of exhaustion.
Woo!
So I think you're only at level 1 right now. Every spell slot, you have a long rest.
Okay, yeah.
That means I can go to the bathroom too.
And what about sorcerer?
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna get some
That's
water
all
too.
right?
Yeah, we
I
got-
believe sorcery points you would recharge on a short rest. So yes, you definitely get them back on a long rest.
Oh yeah.
Right back.
Is everybody back?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Maybe not Steve.
Yeah, waiting on Steve-O and Game.
I'm back.
All right, wait on Steve-O.
While at church,
Whew.
there was always one of those screens. I secretly did that in my mind every time.
What'd you do in your mind every time?
Um,
Undress them?
that YouTube video
What YouTube video?
I posted in Discord. When the DVD logo thing
Oh.
hits the corner.
That was the most 8th grade trip to DC video I've ever seen.
I've never had an 8th grade trip to DC, so I wouldn't know.
Filthy
Nor
Canadian.
have I.
Alrighty, everyone good to go?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I got more beer. I'm good to go.
I got
So-
seaweed.
You say you got seaweed?
Yep.
So, Theon, Morris, Mindardus, and Sorwin, you awaken your barrow, and coming to after last night's events, you have managed to pull yourself together and get a full night's rest. Oh, I gotta. Amongst the first things you notice is that Lola is not in the room.
I awake? Do I wake up?
Yeah, you've all woken up at this point.
Okay. I start getting dressed. Start getting outside.
All right, Sorwin, you head outside. As you are moving around the perimeter of the grove, you notice that there is a significantly increased presence of Gladeborn agents, and they are. It's hard to go for any period of time without at least spotting one that is moving about the village, and they always move in pairs.
I asked the nearest guard if they've seen if there's been any activity.
He looks you up and down for a moment. No, ever since what we detected last night, there's been nothing else. Our searchers have turned up with nothing. And you can hear in his voice a certain dissatisfaction.
Well, I sit in the grass, hang out.
I
All
would
right,
like-
you take a seat. Yeah, what's up, Dan?
Yep.
I would like to go check on a husk.
So as you head out of your barrow, you see Sorwin having this conversation with one of the pairs of Gladeborn agents, and as you head towards the grove, you see Hosk is curled up, but there is the angle of the sunlight that's coming in is striking his form, and you can see that he begins to stir and slowly rouse himself and then reach up and stretch, and you can really see the kind of elongated, lean limbs as he extends each one, kind of rotates it back and forth. This great big lizard maw opening up in a very wide yawn before clomping down shut.
You're not
Is-
gonna.
No, I'm not going to do anything yawn.
Ah.
His bleary eyes fixate on you.
Good morning, Husk. How'd you sleep?
His hand comes to his head and just holds it as he sways back and forth slightly. You don't get any words in response. You just get just a low guttural sigh.
We should go out drinking sometime.
Not yet.
I motion him to come over and group up with the others.
He slowly. Whoa, sorry, big yawn. He slowly follows you towards the rest as you reunite with Sorwin. And I'm assuming at this point that Morris, you've stepped outside with Mindardus.
Yes.
Honos, are you heading back to the rest of the group, or are you doing something different?
I'll find them, yeah.
Okay. So the group of you recollect. And Arari comes and finds you. Can you all, over here for a sec? And she heads back in towards the grove.
I'll follow her.
Following.
So as the group of you walk in towards the grove, the guards that were standing there before are still present. But as you enter the grove, they spin in position and seem to stand covering each of the entrances to the grove. And standing within the grove are Arari, who's already arrived there, and the individual that you saw last night who bears the golden owl mask. He appears to be standing with a basin in his hand and is using a kind of pestle or a stone tool to seemingly break up something that is within this basin that he's holding. And as he looks up and acknowledges your presence with a nod, he heads towards the spring and collects some of the water within the basin that he's been working with. While this is going on, Arari walks up to you, Theon. I don't know exactly what you guys are getting up to, but I would probably tell you that you're stupid for doing it, but I can't really stop you. Well, I mean, I could stop you, but never mind. Here, just take this. And she hands to you a couple of scrolls.
I grab them. What are these?
As you look at the scrolls, you see you recognize some of the arcane incantations there, and one of them is for the mage armor spell, and another one is for the suggestion spell.
So there's just two of them?
There is the two of them, and Arari kind of rubs her eyes. I figured you might need them.
Stop it, you're making me yawn.
I'm sorry, man. I'm getting kind of tired. But Arari also yawned. That was the point of me doing that. And Theon, normally every time you've interacted with Arari in your kind of student-teacher relationship, she's always been in a very kind of well-kept manner. And you see her now, and she's not quite as well put together. She's looking a little bit short on sleep. And this is an example of just kind of seeing the person behind the professional that you knew before.
Does it surprise me?
It
Like,
doesn't
overly?
surprise you. I mean, if anything, it's almost a little kind of endearing to see the person that is, not necessarily the kind of stalwart authority figure that you've been forced into interacting with while you've been at your time in the Spires. She looks at you as you look at her. Don't get killed. If you do, I will resurrect you and kill you myself. So, there's that.
Well, I haven't died yet.
Good. Keep it that way.
I plan to.
As for...
Did we all notice that Lola was gone, or was it...
I mean, you noticed that she wasn't there when you got up, yes, but that is an element of your morning.
I just want... By the way, did you see Lola this morning?
No, I haven't. But I was just trying to get as much sleep as I could. I haven't been up. I stayed up fairly late maintaining that barrier. Direnor's down there now if you wanted to speak to him.
Yeah, I go off to Direnor and ask him about Lola.
You try to leave the grove, and the Gladeborn agents that are standing there do not move and do not let you leave.
Okay, I kind of lift one eyebrow and look at them as I walk back to the group and bend over my head and go, what's with them?
So, Theon, as you are walking back to the group now, and everyone else is there, notices that the individual in the mask that's been filling their basin with the water from the spring, they've come back towards the group now, and they are holding this carved wooden basin that has a variety of Elvish script written around it that is engraved in very, very thin layers.
Can we read what it says?
Yes, it's actually telling a story, and it's describing an individual that lived within this forest, and as part of their time spent here, they gained a connection to the land, and the land actually lent itself towards this individual and aided them when they needed it. But it was only in times of significant need and crisis, and it was when. And what's strange is the story uses the terminology. It's when the heart's passion was strongest, and belief forges a blade. And as you are reading this, the individual that's holding the basin clears his throat and speaks to you.
It's very pretty, isn't it?
It has been with us for some time. It is the story of the first of us.
Story?
He pauses for a moment and just kind of stares at you, and you can't really see anything behind the mask, but it is just staring intently at you for a few moments as it pauses in its sentence. This bears a gift. Our order keeps this village safe, patrols these lands. And as such, the land has lent itself to us. I have prepared this. Drink from it, and you will gain, for a time, the benefit that we draw from. He reaches.
Do I know what he's talking about? Like being part of the village. Like, have I ever heard of this?
Make an Arcana check.
Drac, you suck at rolling.
I know. I need to like roll my dice that I have sitting out here for no reason, apparently.
No raisin.
Unfortunately, you can't. You're not entirely certain. You don't know all that much about the Gladeborn themselves. They intentionally keep information about what it is that they do and how they do it a rather closely guarded secret.
Okay.
But you imagine that this has something to do with one of those hidden details. And from what you've seen this individual preparing within the basin, there is an element of a kind of magic incantation here. He hands the basin to you, Honos. His arms outstretched.
I will make like I'm drinking it, but not drink it.
Okay. So, make a. I guess this would be a. Let me think. Deception or sleight of hand?
Deception.
Deception or performance, I would think.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide between deception and performance now.
They're both charisma checks, so.
Yeah. Okay. If you're making a show of it, but you are deceiving him, so let's make it deception. Oh. So as you go to drink from this basin, the water actually you misjudge it a little bit, and how you were intending to like perhaps have it like run down your chin so that they wouldn't really notice. It just spills onto the ground in front of you with like a loud kind of splash.
Oh no!
I'm gonna put it down and hand it to him, and pull my hands away, I'm gonna shake them a little bit and say, my apologies, I'm not feeling well.
He receives the basin from you and hands it towards Mindardus, who.
That's what you get for
who takes a drink from it. Medardus hands it back to him, and he hands the basin to you now, Theon.
The entire thing didn't spill.
No. There was quite a bit of liquid in this, and just some of it spilled off of it. Because as soon as it started to spill, Honos seemed to correct its position and keep it from completely emptying.
Before I take a drink, and I'm like, is this like one of those rites that you do before you become a Gladeborn? Does this make us part of your order or anything like that?
If you wish to join our order, I can discuss that with you later.
Okay.
To drink from this grants to you a benefit that our people make use of. It will allow you to move amongst the trees and the grass and these lands with greater ease and more difficulty being noticed. It is a key to our survival.
Sounds very beneficial, and I thank him a whole lot. And take a drink.
So as you take a drink from this basin, the water is cool and it is refreshing. And there is a slight bitter tang to it, that of a lot of kind of ground herbs. And as you drink it, and you notice this in Medardus, who is mostly wearing armor, so it's kind of hard to tell. But Honos, you see this begin to happen to Theon, who has a little bit more skin exposed. His skin begins to darken slightly, and very, very gradually mottled patches of a kind of deep green, a very, very faint shade, nothing prominent.
I
They
have
seem to.
teal scales now.
There are patches of your body that begin to display a greenish coloration, and the whole hue of your skin has darkened somewhat. And
Hell yes.
the rapidity with which it sets on definitely implies to you that this is probably a magical effect, and thus likely not permanent.
I notice it too, right?
You notice it, yes.
I'm like, whoa, this is awesome.
As you hand the basin back to...
Yes.
So he hands it to you, Morris.
Does it smell like alcohol?
No, it smells like... it's got kind of an earthy scent to it.
It's high-powered H2O.
The guy that handed it to me, can I ask him if I can spike it?
He doesn't give you a word response. He just slowly shakes his head back and forth in a no kind of motion.
With a very sad expression, I take a sip of it.
All right, so as you take a drink from it, you taste this same kind of bitter tang of kind of herbs and earthy material, and your skin begins to rather rapidly display a similar kind of change. So it darkens, and certain patches of it begin to display a kind of brown or green coloration. Essentially, it's like camouflage, but it's camouflaging your skin.
Ooh.
And in your case, you not wearing armor, it is much more prominent.
Ooh. I hand it back to him.
You
The
don't take a
thing.
bigger chug?
He took enough. I mean,
feel
hell,
like
you
I
can
took
take
enough.
more if you want.
I feel like I took enough.
So you hand it back to him, and he hands the basin to Haas, who just spits on the ground to the side of him. These are my lands, too. I do not need your help.
He doesn't get to taste the tang.
I ask for these ones' help. They say I must come here.
I kind of like motion over to Husk. It's just a motion or a notion of good favor. If you don't want to, just say no, thank you. And I teach him the best. Like I try to teach him a good way to say thank you in Elvish, or no, thank you.
So since everyone's skin changed, does that mean like it's super obvious that Joe didn't drink it then?
Well, Honos doesn't have a lot of skin showing in general, and
Oh.
the hue of his skin, from my understanding, is rather pale to begin with. So there is a slightly greater contrast between him and some of the other members of his party now.
Oh, okay.
So you say this to Theon, you say this to Hosk, and Hosk looks at you, and an expression comes over his face of almost confusion, but at the same time there's an element of almost disbelief to it. And he turns back to this individual. When they do not hunt my people, I will consider this good faith.
Is he gonna say no thank you in Elvish?
He does not say no thank you in Elvish.
I look at the guard and I say, he'll come around later. He's kind of hungover.
It's true, he is certainly hungover. So you say that to the person in the gold mask?
Yeah.
He looks to you and kind of, well, he steps backwards from Hosk, who has responded rather unpleasantly, and simply moves back towards the spring and sets the basin down there. A little bit of the liquid still resting within it, and then comes back to the center of the grove.
Wait, is Soren not gonna?
Oh, sorry, no, fuck, Sorwin, I'm sorry, man. I totally forgot. The
I'm sorry, I'm
individual in the
phasing
gold
out
mask
too.
does offer it to you. What?
I say, hey, we're taking drugs. I'm in.
All right,
drink.
you take a swig of the basin. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man. I totally forgot.
It's all good.
So you
That's
take a drink of this draft, and you, having spent time on other parts of the island, you recognize some of the scent and some of the taste as elements of plants that are not native to this particular region, but you know that they come from a different island nearby. And as you take your drink from it, you notice the same changes begin to set in over your skin, just like that of most of your allies.
And the tang taste.
Yes, he tastes the bitter tang of the herbs.
Boink.
I say that's good stuff, but I've had better.
So this individual in the mask sets the basin down by the spring and heads back towards the center of the grove. This incantation will last for 1 day. You have that time to cover as much ground as possible. If your goal is as we have discussed, and as he says that, he looks towards Mindardus, you will need to head towards the very heart of their territory. Move swiftly and quietly, and you may yet win the day. And he steps backward and then turns and begins to head towards one of the exits. And as he does this, the Gladeborn that are standing around all of the entrances that have essentially faced inwards, blocking you, all of them spin to the side and then opening the entrances, essentially creating a path for this individual to leave as he's heading towards the exit.
Let's get out of here before they realize I didn't drink any.
What just
Alright.
happened to my?
What?
What? I don't understand what just happened.
We
Took a
drink
magic drink.
What does it do?
It makes us camouflaging.
Okay.
Everyone that had a drink from it, you have advantage on stealth checks within the forest and the swamp for the next 24 hours.
Do we also move faster, or
Nope, no, it's just it gives you the advantage on stealth checks.
I just get regular rolls though.
What if I do pass without a trace?
Then
Not
you'll
with
still
that.
gain the +10 benefit,
Oh, okay.
and you will also kind of magically erase any tracks you leave behind you.
so? I don't know. Never mind.
We're off to see the hag, the wonderful hag of
Oz.
Oz.
A Dom, or what's the island name?
The island that you're on is named Rudam.
Rudam.
All right, so the group of you are standing within the grove. Arari is kind of looking at you expectantly, and this individual in the mask who offered to you this drink is pretty much at the exit now, starting to round the corner and leaving sight.
Right, time to go, I guess.
Mr.
Ready.
Ranger, lead the way.
Sorry, what was that?
Mr.
He wants the
Ranger.
ranger to
Ranger.
lead the road.
Ah. Well, you ask Mindardus, and Mindardus turns and speaks to Hosk in the tones you've come to understand are draconic. Theon, you obviously understand what it is that they're saying. And he asks Hosk to show them how to get to Otum. And out of all the words that Mindardus shares with Hosk, the only ones that you do the rest of you do recognize is the distinct Otum sound. So you know that's what they're talking about. Hosk then responds with a couple of minutes of explanation, and Theon, you and Mindardus essentially relate this information to the rest of the group, saying that depending on how you choose to approach the lair where the lizard folk stay, there are different dangers that you'll face depending on where you're going. The fastest route would take you basically through the war camp that you already saw. Like, you could kind of skirt the border, but that is the fastest way. It is the most direct route there. But you'll have to deal with the fact that there are probably going to be patrols, and you're in close proximity to a large volume of their force. So you could, I mean, there are benefits and downsides to that, but that's the most direct way there.
We can beat the shit out of them.
I second going the fastest way.
Yes.
Then
And we can beat the shit out of people when we do it. I'm pissed off. Someone woke me up last night.
So you want to take that route?
I'll take that route so Morris can unleash his anger. By the way, you have to have how many rests to get back to normal?
Well, every time you have a long rest, you lose 1 level of exhaustion, provided you've had something to eat and drink.
So I'm now at exhaustion 1.
Yes. So are you guys going to take the most direct route there, or were you going to
Yes.
take some of the other ways?
I think we should do most direct.
direct.
Okay. So, as the group of you leave, Arari actually gets a hold of Theon. She kind of grabs a hold of your robe before you leave, and the rest of the group kind of walks ahead of you, and they start to generate some distance. Theon, when you came back last night, you passed through the barrier.
That is correct.
There's something that passed through the barrier at the same time. Something that came through with you. Something
Hosk.
dark. It must be. I know that he says he needs your help, but I detected something dark that came through at the same time. If it's him, I don't know what you're walking into.
Can I overhear them saying this?
Make a perception check. You only catch a few mutterings. You don't hear the words.
Shit. Okay.
I'd like to just kind of mention the things that he actually has helped us with, and said, what kind of dark things have you noticed about him? Or is it just that he was evil?
It's just that. Just a feeling. It came through the same time that you did.
But the barrier is supposed to alert you of these things, correct? It's not just feelings?
I know where it came through. And it was right beside you.
Holy shit, what if it's Drac?
Could it be one of our friends?
That's what I'm saying, that lizard.
Well,
Look, just be careful, okay?
I'm wondering, have you felt the same thing without Hosk with us? And when we walked, have we ever walked through the barrier without Hosk before?
No, when you guys left the village, it hadn't been established yet. Well, or sorry, it had been established, but it hadn't kind of been fully set up. Like it was being established as the group of you left.
And you can clearly tell, Arari, that it wasn't any of our group. It was...
It doesn't work that way. It's like when the hair stands up on the back of your neck. You know that it happened, and you know where it happened, but it's just a feeling. And when you came through, you and your friends, I could feel it.
Has it ever been wrong before?
Nope. And with that, she gives you a smile and a kind of, it's almost a little bit smug in the way she kind of like folds her arms in front of her.
And that's what I thought as well. I will make sure that I do keep an eye on him. And I also ask her if she ever has heard anything about this Otum guy, and I relay the information that I know of Otum as well.
I've never heard of Otum specifically, but I know that the lizard folk have been here for quite a while, longer than me. They were here almost since the kingdom was founded. And they've never been like this.
And that's
Well, not on... never mind.
that's what Hosk was telling us. He said this Otum has messed with the minds of his people, and now they attack because of him and because of the fear of him. And we are going to help him to hopefully return the reptilian people back to normal.
Well, I hope that everything's all right when that happens. I don't doubt that you'll succeed. At least I hope you will.
But you still think it might be a trap.
I just don't trust him. That's what I'm saying.
It's
I know
racist.
what I felt.
I guess we'll let him lead the way.
Be careful.
Thank you, Arari. And I hurry up and group back up with the others.
All right, and you hurry off and you manage to catch up. Sorwin, Mindardus, Honos, and Morris, as the group of you have kind of been leaving, essentially you've been following Mindardus and Hosk as you've headed towards the northern end of the village, and you reach the river at the northern border. passing through the promenade, noticing that a number of the shops are starting to open for business for the day. And it's about this time that you notice that you are, missing one of your party members, so you decide to halt for a short amount of time. Is anyone doing anything before Theon arrives?
We're waiting on Theon. Can we discuss leaving Theon behind?
You can certainly discuss leaving Theon behind. He's not there yet.
I think we should leave him behind.
Why's that?
He woke me up last night.
It's a pretty good reason.
Alright. So should we leave him behind? I say yes, let's make a vote.
I raise my hand.
What?
I want to take him with us.
Okay.
Mindardus doesn't say anything.
Shit. Mindardus, we need an opinion.
Well, no, I don't think we should leave him behind.
Shit. Rock, paper, scissors for it?
It's about this time that Theon, that you round the corner and you see the group, your traveling
Their
companions.
hands up in the air.
Well, Morris seems to be kind of holding one fist up and almost indicating towards other members of the group, asking a question as you jog up towards them.
Isn't our good friend Theon?
Shit.
So what's everybody going on about?
We were discussing leaving you behind because you woke me up last night.
Yes, we all heard about your beauty sleep.
Look at how
Every
ugly I
single-
look. Because
You
someone
should-
woke me up last night.
How about this? Maybe I should go talk to Tinny for you. Do I know Tinny from like childhood or anything like that?
You've been to the general store that she is part owner of as you were growing up, so yes, you've encountered her. She is a pleasant woman. She actually was. She knows your mother and has on occasions made like a social call to your house. You remember her as a very pleasant individual, very fun-loving, and from what you were able to kind of glean from eavesdropping conversations between the two of them before they attempted to catch you, was that she actually did adventuring of her own when she was younger, but has decided to settle down.
And how much of Morris's infatuation with her do I know about?
You actually have not really borne a lot of witness to interactions between Morris and Tinny. In fact, you're kind of surprised to hear Morris mention one of the residents of this village by name. And not
Did
just
I?
by name, by the nickname.
Wait,
that-
No,
You
I,
heard her
I,
mother
I,
use.
I said
Oh, okay, so
I
Morris
said
didn't mention Tinny?
no.
Okay, so then no, you don't really know much about any kind of interactions between Morris and Tinny.
Hmm. Well, poo.
alright, shall we get on with it? To track a hag.
Well, Are you guys tracking the hag, or are you going to the lizard folk? Because those are in literally opposite directions.
Which one are we doing? Is this what we're taking a vote on?
I think we're going after lizard folk.
Okay.
I think
That seems
was
to be the
That
consensus.
was originally the plan. Plus,
Okay.
it seems the Gladeborn lost track of her.
Okay. Let's go to the lizard folk then.
All right, so as the group of you head north out of the village, you cross the river, you actually pass through the barrier again. This time it is that same distinct kind of almost like warm water that you have to pass through, but it's more viscous than that. But it's momentary. It's almost like you kind of bump into this material and then pass through it without any other kind of hindrance. So as the group of you head down following the river, but this time along the western bank, you come to the fork in the river that you have been to twice before now. Taking the right, you would head towards the waterfall where the group of you descended the cliff the very first time you've come to these lands. And if you take the left fork, you will head back towards the gate that was previously established where you were ambushed by lizard folk. And essentially where you've learned the Dwarven Lift is and the war camp is. As you're here, you hear Hosk speak as he indicates in two different directions. And again, Theon and Mindardus translates, relating that if you take the eastern approach, and if you head this way along the river, indicating the right-hand fork, that it will take longer, but you're going to bypass the bulk of their forces. You may encounter some of the patrols that you saw earlier, but if you were able to stay quiet and out of sight, you should be able to get towards the lair where the lizard folk live from the eastern side. If you keep going along this branch of the river, indicating the left one, that you will approach from the south and you will pass through the bulk of the lizard folk forces. And if you go around, you can also opt to take the western approach, which is the longest route, and you'll probably arrive there by nightfall, but you'll bypass most of the patrols and you'll come up along a relatively unwatched section of the lizard folk lair, because there are more animals there, and there's a lot of plant life and kind of fungi and mushrooms that make traversing there more difficult. So most creatures tend to avoid that area.
What do we say? Right path?
Let's go that way. The long way, we arrive at nightfall, so we arrive under cover of darkness.
Yeah, that one actually sounds better.
Okay. Well, if we find people, we're killing them.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Good.
We'll get you some kills.
Yeah.
Or else I might have to take it out on someone else as I smile and look towards Theon.
I respond back, well, what if we get into a fight and you're sleeping? Should we wake you up?
If I get to kill someone.
I'll make note of that.
All right, so you guys are going to take the western approach then, the longest route.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was relatively early morning when you left the village, and it takes roughly an hour and a half to get to this fork in the river. So from there, you continue to follow the left or the western fork of the river, the same path you took the last time you left the village. And it's a relatively easy hike. There has been some rainfall over the night that is continuing lightly into the morning. Actually, you know what? I got to roll for that. So as the rains kind of cleared up from last night, there is still a lot of overcast cloud that is kind of just filling the sky. It is a relatively kind of morose gray. There is that kind of light that permeates through the cloud cover that just illuminates everything with a kind of dull glow. And the wind is very, very mild, almost still. So it creates very little noise as far as rustling within trees and things like that. As the group of you head along this western bank, you actually come across the same river structure that you'd initially come to, where there was that kind of stone archway and that urn that had essentially exploded in fire. What you notice is the gate that you and Mindardus had helped to reconstruct, has been deconstructed again, and it is destroyed. There are splinters of wood scattered about the area.
Does it seem like we'd have enough time to reconstruct it again?
I mean, you would have as much time as you choose to keep here. So if you want, you can reconstruct it, or you can keep moving.
How much time did it take for us to construct it the first time?
It took a while.
Okay, we should
Like
probably
you're looking at least like at the bare minimum an hour.
I asked the party if they think we should reconstruct the gate again.
We can do it on our way back.
Just a
Okay.
gate?
We'll do it on the way back then.
Initially what the gate is it's a much more sturdy structure that is part of the defenses that have actually been put in place. So it's like a stone archway with kind of thick, essentially a thick kind of like grating that would allow water and like normal life to pass through, but it would prevent large structures like rafts or big creatures, something the size of a lizard folk, from getting through the gate. But that was destroyed, and then essentially a more rudimentary and ramshackle version was put together by Mindardus and Morris on your first encounter here.
Blew over in the wind. Gate guys.
I give him a scowl and look angry.
So are you rebuilding the gate or no?
No. We'll do it on the way back.
All right. So you continue further southward, but it is at this point that Hosk kind of gets everyone to divert and head further west. This time you pretty much head straight into the trees, and there is no pathway, no riverbank to follow. It is just straight navigating through the foliage, which is it's still quite dense, so you can't really go for even a few feet in one direction before you bump into a tree that you would have to maneuver around. So you're constantly stepping over roots. Are you guys just marching at a normal pace? Are you trying to move in a stealthy manner? How is this going? Also, I need to know marching order. So I know Hosk is in front, and then I think Mindardus is behind him. Who's after that?
I'll take third.
I'm in middle.
I'll take rear.
I'll be in front of him. So he said that this the path we're taking is pretty much we're unlikely to run into anybody.
Correct.
I say we
The
move
diversions
rather
you made
quickly
now.
then. I say we're moving rather quickly then.
So you want to pick up the pace?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have exhaustion level 2, so I can do that.
Also, given that you have your tracker with you, he can help the party move through this terrain at full speed with no penalties. So the group of you actually make very good time. Mindardus and Hosk being able to kind of indicate where safe areas to walk are.
I'm a city boy, I need the help.
As you... Oh, actually, I gotta... So as the group of you are continuing to head westward, you're also starting to take a northward kind of slant, and you're beginning to head towards the cliff face. And eventually, you do, in fact, come across this large cliff. Now, given that you are a couple of hours further west, so the sun is starting to reach its zenith now, it's about noon. And it is around this time that, Theon, you notice that there is a kind of warm buzz out of your, from your belongings.
Sweet. I assume that's my parchment.
And as you take out your parchment, there's a message from Arari, and well, essentially, if you check your tattered journals, you'll see the latest that she transcribed to you. There's a very brief message saying, the latest took a little longer than I anticipated. It's not a journal entry, it's a formula. Apparently, this hag you defeated is quite the potion maker.
Okay.
So as the party continues northward, eventually you come to the cliff face itself. Now, it's not quite as long a drop as it is further to the east of here. So this cliff is around 90 feet down, and there are actually trees that protrude out from the cliff face itself. So there are a lot more objects kind of in between you and the ground itself. It's not the sheer rock that it is further east of here. The forest in this area is significantly thicker, and there is a mixture of kind of new and old growth. So there are saplings all over the place, small trees, big trees, plants, shrubs, things like that. And you are standing at the top of a 90-foot cliff.
I climb down.
Make an athletics check
Okay.
with disadvantage because you have level 1 exhaustion.
I'm fine with that. Shit.
Are you, though? Are you fine with that?
Still a decent roll despite getting a 1.
It was nice knowing you. He
All right, so
falls.
Morris, as you begin to kind of scale your way down the cliff, not securing any kind of rope or, talking to anybody about what you're doing, you start scaling down. The rest of the party just sees Morris just walk up to the edge of the cliff and then turn around and start climbing down using, whatever rocks and branches are at his disposal. He gets about 10 feet down, and as he puts his foot on an outcropping of rock, it just gives way underneath him as soon as he puts some of his body weight on it.
I try to catch myself.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
So,
Wait, hold on.
what?
Do I get disadvantage on saving throws?
I don't think you get disadvantage on saving throws,
Not
but
saving
you
throws,
rolled the
man.
6
Oh
first
yeah,
anyway.
I guess it's. I guess...
But does he see the ground coming at him?
The way that he falls, what actually happens is he kind of, as he tumbles backward, he hits a tree, a small tree that's growing out of the cliff, and it kind of pinwheels him and starts him rotating forward in the air. And then he lands midsection on another piece of tree, and his body kind of like folds forward over top of it. And you can just hear all the like of the air escape his lungs as he rolls kind of forward off of that, hitting a small piece of rock. And you hear the sounds of him hitting all this debris on the way down. Like it's accompanied with the occasional like until he thuds into the ground at the bottom of this cliff 90 feet down. Morris, you take 26 points of fall damage.
When I hit the ground, can I yell, "Theon, I'm gonna kill you,"
You certainly can.
for waking me up?
You got one level of exhaustion removed, you beauty sleeping asshole.
All right.
All right, so
I made it
Morris
to the
has
bottom
successfully
safely.
and expediently made it to the bottom of the cliff.
I'll yell up, "Hurry the fuck up! We gotta go."
I'm gonna take. How much rope do I have actually?
I have 50 feet in the explorer's pack. We can.
I'll yell up, "I'll catch you if you start falling."
I also have 10. I also have 50 feet. We should tie them together.
Tie them together. Yeah.
And go on down.
All right, so Sorwin and Honos, the two of you work together, tying what length of rope that you have and securing it to a nearby tree. And you just head straight down?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half of
How long does it take them to get down?
It only takes them about... sorry, actually, I need an athletics check from the two of you.
Can I short rest while they do it?
You can start taking a short rest as they are making their way
yeah.
down, yes.
Okay.
Wow, okay. So, Honos, you start climbing down the rope first. And you're making your way along, no real problems, taking in a bit of the view. It's quite nice. The forest itself is rather lush and verdant and is beautiful. There are bird songs, and if it wasn't for the overcast sky, it would be very picturesque. It's about this time that your this kind of serene view is interrupted with a "Wah!" And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I have a plan for this. I have a
Oh.
backup plan.
So the kind of sound or alert that is emitted from Sorwin above you kind of clues you in, like, okay, something's probably wrong. And as you look up, you essentially kick off the rock that you're nearby to and push yourself out of the way as Sorwin, who has lost grip on the rope, begins to tumble down with about 60 feet below him.
Wait, I transform into Hawk.
All right.
Damn it! No, I don't want to. I want like hold on. I'm trying to find a better bird than
Okay.
Hawk's pretty goddamn awesome.
it's got challenge levels.
Make it a squirrel and throw nuts at Drac.
Squirrel.
God damn it, Joe. Game you can't laugh.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Fucking squirrels.
Actually, not that many. Okay, I'll just do an owl. I'll transform.
You'll transform into an owl?
Yeah, and
Okay.
gracefully recover from fumbles.
All right. Now, I think that there's a restriction on what kind of animals you can change into depending on your druid level. But to me, this seems
Yeah.
kind of fucking lame. So forget that. I also let you be an owl earlier. So it would seem weird to just block you from doing that now. Okay. So you're an owl.
Okay, I recover and I soar down slowly and gently through the breeze. And
Does he
then
have to roll for that?
yeah, I try
yeah.
to soar down gently through.
No. Why don't you make a concentration check? Just roll a d20 and add your Constitution modifier.
Or just do
It's
a
falling
concentrate
through the air.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a
And-
Constitution check.
It is. It's a Constitution check. Do a Constitution check.
Oh,
Okay.
no,
That's
I rolled
enough.
a d20.
So, despite the the very minor moment of panic as your hands lose grip on the rope and you begin to tumble downwards, in your mind you're worried for a moment that you might collide into Honos, but as you fall downwards, you just see his form kind of drift off to the side as he swings on the rope, and you focus and concentrate, and your form shifts into that of an owl. Sorry, an owl, and you take a wide sweeping arc gliding downwards towards the foot of the cliff.
I yell at him to untie the knot when we're done.
What?
Yeah.
And you hear Honos yelling for you to untie the knot when you're done.
I acknowledge that I will untie the knot when I'm done flying around, but I'm not done flying around yet.
Honos, you hear a series of hoots and various owl noises.
Hoot a lot.
Can
Mindardus, yeah,
I'm still up on the cliff, man.
yep. Are you gonna climb down the rope, or what you gonna do?
I want to first like overlook the cliff to see if I can see maybe any like smoke in the distance or anything that looks like patrols or settlements.
Make
I'd
a
like to
perception
land
check.
on Drak's shoulder, dig my talons, and
A perception check.
Make a perception check.
how do I roll for that?
Got a fucking 19.
I approve, game. I approve.
I still, yeah.
I also
I'm
need.
still flying.
I also need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Wouldn't he have advantage being an owl?
But he's not making a perception check.
Oh,
Theon
is
was
that-
the one making
is
the
that
perception
supposed
check.
to do? Sorry.
Wait, I thought you were trying to land on Theon's shoulder.
I was, yeah.
Okay, are you doing anything else aside from that? Were you making a perception check?
I don't know. Oh, maybe I should. That's a good idea. should make a perception check as an owl flying through the air.
All right. So as you are flying
things
through the air, you make your perception check. So Theon actually spots this first, but Sorwin, as you floated around, you actually clamped your talons down into Theon's shoulder. You couldn't help
Yeah.
but notice that he's staring at a particular point, about 80 or so feet off of the foot of the cliff, further into the forest, and there is a small break in the trees there. And within this clearing, there are a couple of small dark figures that are just lying amidst the grass. And as you see him looking over there, you, with your owl eyes, you take a look down there as well, and you see that there is something lying within this clearing. While this is going on, Mindardus and Hosk successfully scale down the rope with no issues. Mindardus almost making a show of it, kind of spinning in a bit of a circle, somehow managing to pull this off, all with his rather terrified at the moment cat just kind of clinging onto his leg. And you can see the claws are like sinking into the leather armor.
Does it hurt me?
Did I just walk into game trying to hurt Drac with talons?
No,
They're
I
up top.
did already.
Oh.
No, it doesn't hurt you, Theon.
Okay.
So
Squeeze-
Theon,
I
did you
squeeze
hear what I
harder.
said?
Kind of half.
So you spotted some kind of indistinct dark shapes within a clearing that is a ways off from the foot of
Oh
the cliff.
yeah.
You being at the top of the cliff, you have a good vantage of it, and you can see that it's a ways out. It'll take you some time to get there, but it's not too far.
I climb down the rope.
All right, make an athletics check. All right, so you were successfully climbed down the rope, not a lot of issues. At a couple of points, the wind picks up and kind of makes it sway a little bit, so you pause for a couple moments. But there's no problem making it down. So Sorwin, you are still in owl form at the top of the cliff. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna peck at the rope and either try to untie it with my beak, or if I can't, tooth the rope at the. It's like a foot.
Okay, then I want you to make a dexterity check using the owl's dexterity modifier.
Okay.
So you roll your d20,
One.
and you rolled a 1?
No. I roll. It's a +1.
Oh, okay. It's a +1 for the dexterity mod. Okay, so what did you roll for your d20? Oh,
18.
no problem. So you're with your keen targeting of your beak and your very sharp eyes, you're able to. And you were one of the ones who tied these knots, so you know how to untie them, and you just kind of apply pressure and tug at the right points, and just with a couple of quick pulls, the whole thing just unravels and just curls and snakes down the edge of the cliff, falling into a large heap at the bottom of the cliff. And there is 100-foot length of rope, Honos laying at your feet.
Cool. I keep flying, take off, and just stay above everybody.
I'll pick up the rope and put it away.
All right. So the rest of the party is at the foot of the cliff. Sorwin is still flying around as an owl. What are the people at the bottom of the cliff doing?
Did I get my long rest in?
This did not. Okay, you would definitely not have gotten a long rest, because a long rest is 8 hours.
Short rest. That's what I meant.
I'm gonna say this whole process took more than half an hour, so you'd have to stick around there for a little while longer if you wanted to get a full short rest. But I'm gonna say you're halfway through a short rest at this point.
I'm gonna tell the party, let me eat something quick. I'm real hungry.
What time is it roughly?
It's a little bit past noon at this point.
Let's have lunch. And he'll finish his thing, and then we'll move on.
All right.
And as we're having lunch, I let people know about the little clearing and the shadowy figures.
So can I use hit die?
You can certainly use a hit die. Anybody who's injured can use a hit die.
Can I use more
No,
than one?
you can use as many hit die as you want. It's a short rest.
How
So
much
Sorwin, you're an
Damage
owl.
did
What are
he
you doing?
take?
You took 26 points of fall damage.
I'm gonna go sit in a tree, watch, but I don't want people to see.
Okay, make a stealth check and then a perception check.
Wow, that's a lot of things. Fucking wind.
All right. So you were able to successfully kind of nestle yourself within one of the taller trees, one of the larger boughs, and you plant yourself on one of the branches, taking in what's around you. What you notice is coming along the foot of the cliff, heading in your direction slowly, is a group of 5 or so humanoids. They're still a ways off, given your vantage, but they are heading in this direction slowly.
And I didn't see them as well.
You did not see this. This happened before you descended the cliff. Or sorry, you saw that before you descended the cliff. This has happened since then.
I start to hoot wildly loudly as possible to alert party to something.
All right. So as the party is enjoying their lunch and sitting down, cracking out some of your rations, you begin to hear a frantic hooting. Oh, furious hoots.
What the fuck?
Wakes the kid up. He
If you're
woke him up.
if you're trying to tell us something, just tell us.
I try to, but it just comes out as hoots. You guys don't speak hoot, so
So an owl lands in and amongst the party's campsite. Have you guys like started a fire, or are you just sitting there?
Just
I'm just sitting here.
All right. So as you're all resting here, an owl lands and just begins to just hoot aggressively at all of you.
I give it a piece of my rations because it
I
sounds
accept the ration,
hungry.
and
It sounds hungry.
I walk over to the giant person that just ration.
Well,
hang out.
now that it's stopped hooting, that's solved.
I stop.
All right.
Actually, I'm like all full. I forgot what I was doing because I have
you-
short-term memory.
All right. So you're maintaining your owl form.
Yeah, I don't want to give that up. So, sorry, dudes. You guys should heed the owl's frantic warning.
So the party finishes up its short rest.
What is it, Lassie? Timmy's falling down the hole?
Hoot,
The
hoot,
well?
hoot, 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 hoot.
I take out a dagger and make to throw it at the owl.
I fly into the trees.
You should
Oh,
probably
I'm gonna
fly
check.
around them. Not
I fly around. Yeah, I just take off.
Where have I put this thing? Fuck. Sorry, just give me 1 sec, guys.
One.
More than 1 second now.
Ugh.
As I'm flying, I poop,
Giordano's.
and I just poop like around the. And like it maybe hits somebody, maybe it doesn't. There's like
All right. So as this is going on, Morris, Honos, Mindardus, and Sorwin, while this this kind of pooping, knife throwing at the owl fiasco is going on, you begin to notice silhouettes that are starting to appear along the near the foot of the cliff, not right at the base of the cliff, but maybe 10 or 20 paces away from it, are moving in and amongst the trees heading in your direction. The only reason you notice is because their silhouettes seem to break the normal tree line as they are heading in this direction.
Who sees this?
Actually, everybody but Theon.
Why?
Your passive perception is not high enough.
Ah,
Let's. I'm gonna dash into nearby tree cover.
I stand and wait for them.
All right, Morris, you stand at attention, waiting for these silhouettes.
Actually, I want to lean against my great axe,
All right, you're leaning against your great axe.
looking like a badass.
Honos, you have gone into hiding. Make a stealth check.
That's a 2.
that's an 18.
No, it's not. He doesn't have advantage.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he does.
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
He didn't take the drink.
I don't trust that funky tang.
You fucked
The
up.
tang.
Uh-oh, hold on. Give me a second. No, it's not copied anymore.
What did you post?
He's just spamming general with tang pictures.
Yeah, it's just the Tang picture. Okay.
And we have a whole D&D channel for this thing.
I know, right?
Arfist is linking good things in Joe's channel.
Okay, so as these figures get closer, so Morris, you're making no attempt to hide yourself. Honos, you have tried to hide yourself as best you can. What are Sorwin and Theon doing?
I'm wondering what everybody else is doing, and that's about it.
Flying
Mindardus. Yeah? You're flying around?
Bird.
So Hosk and Mindardus also look off in the direction of these silhouettes, and Mindardus also takes cover behind a tree. And Hosk, who sees this, kind of motions for everyone, doesn't say anything, but kind of motions with his arms and kind of beckons you in the direction of further to the north, as in, leaving this location.
I stay put because the words of Arari are kind of like making me think twice about everything now.
All right, so you're staying put, and so Theon and Morris, you are staying out in the open, kind of within near the base of the cliff, just kind of in a small alcove where you guys have settled down to have your lunch.
Yes.
Oh,
Wait,
man,
do I
gotta
notice Hosk?
Oh, you certainly notice Hosk because he's trying to beckon you in that direction.
I guess I'll start walking towards him.
All right, so Morris begins heading off in the same direction that Hosk is kind of indicating. So Theon, you are now the last person near the base of the cliff.
I get up and I follow.
All right. I need everybody to make a stealth check, aside from those people who already have.
Am I making one?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I am the
Yes,
noisiest
but you can-
motherfucking elephant.
you can make one with.
No, you
with
don't,
an
Steve-O.
advantage.
You took a
you'll
drink.
you'll have advantage.
I don't have advantage. I just
No, because his cancels out because he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
disadvantage from his level of exhaustion.
How do I roll the?
Just in the same thing as like persuasion and perception and stuff like that. Near the bottom is stealth. Oh, there you go. You got it.
I don't know how to do a.
I pull out my boombox and play my mixtape loudly for everyone to hear.
So as the group of you are, or as you start to kind of filter in towards more into the tree line heading north, following Hosk's encouragement, Theon, you are standing your ground, and as as these silhouettes begin to get closer and closer, they become more and more distinct, and they are in fact lizard folk. There are about 5 of them, but one is distinctly larger than the other, and their silhouette is different. Not only are they physically larger, but the way they move is distinct by comparison to the others. The larger one actually happens to be moving kind of on all 4s. And their head is kind of leaning back and forth in a very kind of animalistic manner.
Did you say I was staying there?
Well, didn't you say you said you were staying there? Or did you say you were leaving?
I said I guess I'll follow along.
Oh, okay. All right. So then you've made your stealth check as well.
Because everybody else left, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody else left or hid. So
Yeah.
right now, Honos and Mindardus, you two are seemingly stealthed nearby to where you settle down for your short rest. Are you going with the rest of the group,
Yeah.
or are you staying there?
I want to move with the rest of the group,
All right.
but still stay in the trees.
So as everyone is attempting to kind of stealth and meander their way, hopefully attempting to avoid notice or detection, there is an old and decrepit bucket, and Morris just puts his foot right in the bucket. And as he kind of like lifts his foot up and like looks at it and wonders like how the hell this bucket managed to make it here. It's old rusty iron, and as he kind of tries to shake it off, he puts his foot back down and steps on rocks, and there's just a loud clank of iron against rock. And he's shaking it back and forth, the handle of the bucket slapping against the iron side and against his shin, leaving a little bit of a welt, Morris, until eventually it comes free off of your foot. Your foot is free of this buckety prison, and it smashes against a tree nearby with a loud, cacophonous echo.
Huh.
The 5 silhouettes of lizard folk that were not far off from your position have all turned and faced the sound of the source of that sound, and are now beelining in that direction.
I guess I'll resume my original position, leaning against my great axe.
All right,
waiting
so
for them.
in the midst of the forest. So I would say right now you guys are about halfway between the foot of the cliff and the clearing that was initially spotted by Theon and Sorwin. So there's about 40 feet between you and the clearing and you and the foot of the cliff.
I think we're getting ready to fight.
All right. So Morris is simply standing there, perched on his axe, waiting for the arrival of what will soon be dead things.
Yep.
Is anyone else doing anything to prepare?
9.
Yeah, no,
I'm already stealth, so I think that's good enough.
All right. So as these silhouettes are inbound, you notice that they have actually spread out and started to try and circle in through this area, and they are approaching from in a kind of a concave shape, but the larger of these figures is not approaching with any kind of attempt to be stealthy. They are, in fact, charging. They're running. And what's more, they're running on all 4s in a very animal manner. And as they crash through some of the undergrowth, and Morris, you are amongst the first to see this, it is a lizard folk, but whereas the ones you've seen before are green-scaled, kind of like husks, but wearing red leathers, this one is almost purely red. And there appears to be some kind of like dark... he is red because there is a kind of like dark crimson or like a maroon or scarlet that seems to just be kind of coating their body. And what's more is the form of the lizard folk, which you've seen some pretty muscular ones. This one is bulging with muscle, and you can hear it aggressively just kind of breathing in, sniffing, trying to find what it is it's looking for.
You're talking, this is just like the big one in the group?
This is the big one in the group, and as it gets
Okay.
closer and closer, you begin to see a kind of. There is an element to its movement that is very, very feral, and it seems not like the other ones that act with a purpose and have a kind of sentience or intelligence. This is a very bestial kind of lizard folk, and as it runs up, catching your scent, seeing you, it actually leaps up and over off of one of the trunks that has fallen nearby and lands not 10 feet from you. And you can see that this large form is actually swollen. There are parts of the scales of its body that have split open, and beneath it appears to be a kind of bloody and matted hair. And it's in small patches that are all over the rippling muscular form of this creature across legs, back, chest, arms. And it's kind of slavering at the mouth like it's just like a mad dog.
Muscles don't protect against great axes.
And as it lands, it just roars at you. And that's what we'll end tonight's session.
Oh boy.
Make sure I crack my neck at the beginning of the first session next time.
You remember to crack your neck at the beginning of the session next time.
Okay. I'll leave myself a note.
I am Excitebike.
Oh, okay. That was a lot of
Did
talking.
you say I'm an excited bike?
I am Excite